Megan slid the quitclaim deed across the dining table before Lily had finished reading the deed already in front of her. "You can sign that one today," Megan said. "Then none of this becomes your problem." Lily looked from one paper to the other. Her grandfather's house was quiet around them, but it wasn't empty. Noah was in the garage choosing which tools he wanted. Every few minutes, metal struck metal, followed by the scrape of another drawer opening. John Nguyen had been dead for 6 weeks. His coffee cup still sat beside the kitchen sink. Lily kept one finger on the first deed. It transferred the West Seed Mill to her. The property address was 1840 West Forest Street in Brigham City. The probate inventory valued it at $1 because of fire damage, possible demolition costs, and unpaid property tax. The second paper would transfer it away again. "Who would get it if I sign?" Lily asked. Megan straightened a stack of bank statements that was already straight. "The estate, temporarily. And then? We'd dispose of it properly. Sell it, if anyone would take it." Lily was 25, and she knew how Megan sounded when she wanted something to feel settled. Her aunt lowered her voice. She used words like practical and clean. She stopped looking directly at the person who was supposed to agree. On the table beside Megan sat the distribution list. Megan was receiving John's house and most of his savings. Noah was receiving his truck, the enclosed equipment trailer, and the better part of his shop tools. Several accounts would cover the remaining estate expenses. Lily was receiving a burned seed mill no one had entered in months. Megan tapped the quitclaim deed. "The county can fine the owner. They can require cleanup. If somebody gets hurt there, that can come back on you. Then why put it in my share?" Megan's mouth tightened. She hadn't expected Lily to ask that so plainly. "It had to go somewhere," she said. "Your grandfather included you. I followed the values in the inventory. The value is $1. That's what the appraiser assigned it. And that satisfied my share? It satisfies the instruction that each named beneficiary receive property." Lily looked down at John's signature on the earlier estate papers. He had written carefully in his last years. The letters leaned slightly to the right, each one separate from the next. Noah came in carrying a red metal toolbox against his chest. At 29, he had John's height and Megan's habit of entering a room as if a decision had already been made. "You still doing this?" he asked. "We're nearly done," Megan said. Noah set the toolbox by the back door. "You don't want that mill, Lily. The roof's half open. There's burned chemical stink in everything." "Seed treatment," Megan corrected. "Whatever it was, it's still there." Lily had seen the mill only once, years earlier, from John's truck. She remembered a long timber building set behind a wire fence. Its siding had once been white. A square office stood at the near end, and a taller section rose behind it, where belts and pulleys had moved seed between floors. John had pointed without slowing down. "That place paid for a lot of dinners," he'd said. By then, black fire marks already climbed the western wall. Lily turned the quitclaim deed around and pushed it back to Megan. "I'm keeping the mill." Noah gave a short laugh. Megan didn't. "Don't decide because you're upset," Megan said. "I'm not upset. That wasn't true, but it was close enough." Lily's anger had gone quiet before she arrived. Quiet anger had helped her through many offices where other people controlled the forms. Megan folded her hands. "I'm trying to protect you." Lily looked at the distribution list again. "You could have protected me by giving me something that wasn't listed as a cleanup liability." A drawer slammed in the garage. No one had opened it. The sound came from something Noah had disturbed, settling back into place. Megan's face changed for only a moment. She was tired, grieving, and irritated that grief hadn't made Lily easier to manage. "Your grandfather made certain choices," she said. "I can't fix all of them." Lily knew that sentence wasn't only about the estate. In 2019, on the morning Lily turned 18, she had owned one rolling suitcase with a broken handle, a canvas backpack, and an envelope of documents from the state. She was leaving a foster placement outside Ogden. The couple there had been decent to her, which meant they'd labeled the food she could take and driven her to the bus station instead of making her walk. Her caseworker had found a transitional room, but it wouldn't be ready for 9 days. Lily called Megan from a bench near the vending machines. Megan answered on the fourth ring. "Happy birthday, thanks." There had been a pause. Lily could hear a turn signal clicking inside Megan's car. "My room isn't ready yet," Lily said. "They messed up the date." "Oh, I just need somewhere for about a week." Another pause followed. Megan knew why Lily was calling before Lily finished asking. She also knew there was an unused bedroom in her house. Noah had moved out the year before, though he still kept boxes there. I don't think that would work, Megan said. Lily watched a bus pull away from the curb. I can sleep on the floor. It isn't about space. What is it about? Your situation has always been complicated. Noah's things are here, and I'm working long hours. I can't take responsibility for somebody moving in. I'm not asking you to take responsibility. I'm 18. Exactly. You're an adult now. Lily held the phone tighter. Megan must have heard the station announcement in the background because she asked where Lily was. At the bus station. Didn't they arrange something? It starts next week. Well, call your worker. That's what those programs are for. Lily looked at her suitcase. One wheel had twisted sideways during the walk from the car. Okay, she said. Don't do that. Do what? Make it sound like I'm leaving you somewhere. Lily hadn't known how to answer. Megan wanted credit for the difference between refusing and abandoning, and Lily didn't have the strength to give it to her. I have to go, she said. Lily, wait. But Lily ended the call. For 9 days she moved between 2 emergency beds, a church basement, and the back room of a woman she knew from a grocery job. She made every work shift. She kept her documents inside a plastic bag because the church basement had a leaking pipe near the cots. John didn't know any of that then. Megan had told him Lily's program had arranged housing. Lily learned this much later, after John found her phone number through an old caseworker and called her himself. He didn't begin with an apology. John rarely began in the right place. I'm told you work at a pharmacy now, he said. Who told you? A woman who said she wasn't allowed to tell me anything else. That sounds like my old caseworker. Do you like the work? It pays. That wasn't my question. It's my answer. He had gone quiet. Lily expected him to offer an explanation for the years he'd stayed away. Instead, he asked whether her car was making a clicking sound when it turned. Megan had mentioned Lily bought an old car. I don't have a car, Lily said. Another silence. John had believed a whole version of her life that didn't exist. Lily could hear him rearranging it in his mind. He began driving down twice a month. At first, they met at a diner because Lily wouldn't give him her address. He brought practical things she hadn't requested. A tire gauge when she finally got a car, a small socket set, a winter coat that was too large. He asked too many questions about her work and not enough about why he'd let Megan speak for her. Their contact rebuilt slowly because Lily made it slow. John accepted that, though it hurt him. He had earned the pace. Over time, he told her about the mill. He had bought it after years of working there. Local growers used its equipment and storage. A fire had damaged the main building, but John always spoke of the place in the present tense. It needs a roof before it needs anybody's opinion, he once said. Lily had smiled at that. John noticed, and wisely didn't mention it. Now his house belonged to Megan. His tools were going home with Noah. The mill sat on paper in front of Lily, worth $1. Megan pulled a large envelope from beneath the estate file. If you insist on accepting it, these go with it. Inside were 2 keys on a faded green tag, a copy of the recorded deed, an insurance cancellation notice, and a county tax notice. Lily read the notice first. The unpaid balance wasn't enormous, but it was more than she had available after rent and ordinary bills. She had 21 days to cure the delinquency before additional collection steps began. You knew about this, Lily said. It came to Dad's address. Megan still called John Dad. Lily could hear the small claim inside the word, not because Megan meant it cruelly, but because she didn't have to think about whether she belonged to him. When did it arrive? Last week. So, I've already lost time. You haven't lost anything. Sign the quitclaim and the estate handles it. Noah leaned against the kitchen counter. That's the sensible move. Lily placed the tax notice back in the envelope. Where are the mill records? What records? Megan asked. Bills, repairs, anything grandfather kept. I haven't found a separate file. He kept a file for every machine he owned. Noah shrugged. Maybe it burned. The answer came too quickly. Lily looked at him, but Noah had already turned toward the garage. Megan pushed a pen across the table. I'm asking one last time. Lily put the pen beside the unsigned paper. No. Megan sat back. Then the taxes and the property are yours. So is whatever the county requires. I understand. No, I don't think you do. Lily slipped the keys into her pocket. Then I'll go look. The mill stood at the western edge of Brigham City, where houses gave way to open ground and old agricultural buildings. West Forest Street ran straight past it. Traffic from the highway made a low, steady sound beyond the fields. Lily parked outside a bent chain-link gate late that afternoon. The fire had left a black opening in the mill's upper wall. Several windows were boarded, A strip of roof covering lifted in the wind and slapped down again. Weeds filled the gravel drive, and a newer wire fence ran behind the burned building toward the neighboring field. The place looked worse than Lily remembered. She stayed in the car long enough to read the tax notice twice. 21 days. She calculated what she could move from savings, what could wait, and how many extra pharmacy shifts would still leave her short. Then she took the green tag keys and walked to the gate. The smaller key opened the padlock. That surprised her. Inside, the air smelled of wet wood, ash, and dry weeds. Lily followed the drive to the office door at the eastern end. Its window was cracked but intact. The larger key stuck halfway into the lock. She pulled it out, wiped rust from it with her sleeve, and tried again while lifting the door by its handle. The lock turned. The office held a metal desk, 2 chairs, and a wall calendar from 2025. Water had stained one corner of the ceiling, but the floor felt solid. A gray wool coat still hung behind the door. John's coat. Lily touched the cuff, then let it go. On the desk lay an empty coffee tin and a folded piece of paper weighed down by a spark plug. She opened it. In John's square handwriting were 4 words. Roof first. Keep gate locked. Lily read them once, folded the paper again, and put it in her pocket. Outside, the loose roof covering struck the building in the wind. She found a coil of rope in the bottom desk drawer. The desk also held a flashlight that worked after she rolled its batteries between her palms. Lily went back outside, dragged a fallen length of pipe away from the gate, and pulled both halves shut. The chain was awkward and the posts leaned in opposite directions, but she managed to fit the padlock through. When she tested it, the gate held. For the first time that day, something stayed where she put it. She stood with both hands around the cold chain while the wind pressed her coat against her back. Locking a ruined property wasn't much, but it separated the place from the road. For now, anyone who wanted to enter would have to ask her. Her phone rang before she reached the office. Megan's name appeared on the screen. Lily answered because she always answered family calls quickly. It was an old habit. If she waited, she worried the call wouldn't come again. "Are you there?" Megan asked. "At the mill. You went by yourself?" "Yes. That gate isn't safe. The posts are loose. It's locked." Megan breathed out through her nose. "I found another box of your grandfather's papers. There might be something related to the property. I'll come get it. I haven't sorted it yet. I can sort it. No, there are personal records mixed in. Estate records. I need to review them first." Lily looked through the cracked office window at the dark interior. "When can I see the mill papers? When I know what's there. I have 21 days, I'm aware." "You had the notice for a week. We discussed that." They hadn't discussed it. Megan had explained why the lost week shouldn't matter, which was not the same thing. Lily rubbed a clean spot into the window with her sleeve. The office desk appeared through the glass, along with John's coat behind the door. "Could you send me pictures as you find things?" she asked. "I'll make a separate pile. Today? I have work, Lily. Tonight, then." Megan went silent. Lily knew she had pushed too far, because Megan's silence always made the other person responsible for repairing the conversation. "Whenever you have time," Lily added. "All right," Megan said, warmer now. "I knew you'd understand." The call ended. Lily put her phone away and immediately disliked what she had done. She needed those papers. Megan had them. Asking gently made practical sense. Still, Lily had heard herself retreat as soon as Megan withheld approval. She opened the office again and searched the desk more carefully. Most drawers were empty. One contained pencils, 2 folding rulers, a box of chalk, and paper clips stuck together by rust. Another held receipts so faded that only their edges showed blue ink. Lily found an old landline telephone beneath the desk, its cord cut cleanly at the wall. The lowest drawer wouldn't open. She pulled until the desk moved. Then she crouched and shone the flashlight into the narrow gap. Something had fallen behind the drawer and jammed it. Lily fed one of the folding rulers down the back, pushed against the obstruction, and heard a small object drop. The drawer opened. Inside was a 3-ring binder marked Mill Contacts. Most of the pages listed suppliers whose numbers had been crossed out. The last sheet had 3 names written in John's hand. One was Caleb Rhodes, followed by the words roof and framing. Lily recognized the name. John had mentioned him during one of their diner breakfasts. "Caleb knows old buildings," John had said. "He doesn't get frightened just because something leans." Lily had been cutting a pancake into even squares. Buildings aren't supposed to lean. Everything leans eventually. That sounds like something people say before a roof falls in. John had laughed hard enough to cough into his napkin. She remembered that more clearly than the rest of the conversation. Lily called the number. A man answered over the sound of a power saw. Roads repair. Is this Caleb? It is. My name is Lily Nguyen. The saw stopped in the background. John's Lily? She looked at the wall calendar. John had circled several dates, but there were no notes explaining them. I'm his granddaughter. I know who you are. I just didn't know if you were still in Utah. I'm in Brigham City, at the mill. Caleb didn't answer at once. His silence felt different from Megan's. He was thinking, not waiting for Lily to surrender something. Inside the fence? He asked. Yes. Did you walk under the west wall? I don't know which wall is west. The burned side facing the open field? I was near it. Don't go back there. I can be over in 40 minutes. You don't have to come. I know. I can pay for an inspection, but not today. I didn't say anything about money. That's why I'm saying it. Caleb lowered his voice, and the sounds around him faded as if he'd stepped outside. Lily, the roof was moving before winter. John asked me to price temporary bracing. We didn't get it done. Why not? He stopped returning calls. That would have been near the end, when John had begun forgetting appointments and insisting he hadn't. Megan had described it as stubbornness. Lily had believed her because believing Megan was easier than admitting how little Lily knew about John's final months. 40 minutes, Caleb said. Stay in the office. I can't hire you yet. Then don't. Just stay away from that wall. He ended the call before she could refuse again. Lily used the time to sweep broken glass from the office floor. The push broom she found in a storage closet had lost half its bristles. She worked slowly, testing each section of floor before putting her full weight on it. The office had a narrow washroom. The faucet gave a dry groan when she turned it. A small electric heater was bolted under the window, but the power switch did nothing. Above the desk, a corkboard held curled notes and a photograph. Lily lifted the photograph from its thumbtack. John stood in front of the mill with 6 sacks stacked on a pallet. He was younger and heavier, with black hair and both hands resting on his hips. A much younger Caleb stood beside him, holding a level. Lily guessed the picture had been taken during Caleb's apprenticeship. Behind them, past the edge of the mill, a low stone building appeared in the distance. Lily had never noticed it when she drove in. The newer fence and tall weeds blocked most of the view from the office. She put the photograph in the binder rather than her pocket. The binder belonged with the property. She wasn't ready to decide what belonged to her personally. A white work truck stopped outside the gate 35 minutes later. A man got out wearing dusty work pants and a dark knit cap. He was 33, broad through the shoulders, and moved with the careful speed of someone used to carrying heavy things through narrow spaces. Lily went to unlock the gate. Caleb held up both hands. Before you let me in, walk back 10 feet. Why? Because that post is bending toward you. She stepped back. Caleb gripped the wire through the fence and took the gate's weight while Lily opened the padlock. The post shifted in the wet soil. That's new, he said. It held when I tested it. It held once. Lily disliked how closely that matched several decisions in her life. Caleb drove through and parked beside her car. He took a hard hat from the truck and handed it to her. I'm staying outside, she said. Things fall outside. She put it on. He walked the property without entering the main mill. He looked up more than he looked down. At the burned wall, he stopped well beyond the line of fallen roof material. The last hard wind pulled this corner loose, he said. Can it be saved? Some of it. How much? I can't answer that from the yard. What can you answer? Caleb pointed toward the office. That section is separate framing. Fire didn't travel through the block wall. If the ceiling stays dry, you could make it safe enough to use. Live in? He turned to her. Are you planning to? I'm considering it. Does Megan know? It isn't Megan's building. Caleb watched her for a moment, then nodded. He didn't ask where else she could go. Lily appreciated that, though part of her wanted someone to ask, and then insist the answer mattered. They entered the office together. Caleb tested the ceiling with the handle of a screwdriver. He opened the washroom access panel, checked the pipes, and found the main water valve closed. Probably winterized, he said. John used to do it early. Can we turn it on? Not until we know where the broken lines are. He examined the heater and followed its cable to a small electrical panel in the storage closet. This office has its own sub-panel. Is that good? It can be. Main service might be disconnected. Lily showed him the binder and the photograph. Caleb held the picture by its edges. I took this, he said. You're in it. Timer on a bucket. Grandfather said you apprenticed under him. He called it apprenticing. Mostly I carried lumber and got told I was holding it wrong. He liked correcting people. He liked being needed. Caleb said it without criticism. That made the words land harder. Lily returned the photograph to the binder. Was he here much last year? Until late summer, then less. Did he say why he stopped calling you? No. Did Megan? I didn't ask Megan. Most people asked Megan. She was the person who knew where John's appointments were, which bills had been paid, and when visitors could come. Lily had accepted that arrangement. Each time she called John, she had first checked with Megan to see whether he was resting. When Megan said it wasn't a good day, Lily waited. Now she wondered how many good days there had been. Caleb crouched beside the desk and unplugged an extension cord that disappeared through a hole in the block wall. Where does that go? Lily asked. Old machine room. Can we check? Not without more light. I have the flashlight. We need more than one working flashlight in a burned building. His tone was calm, but Lily heard the boundary. He wasn't going to prove his usefulness by doing something foolish. Outside, Caleb opened the side compartments of his truck. He took out 2 battery lanterns, a moisture meter, and a bundle of bright survey ribbon. Lily noticed a stack of contractor estimates on the passenger seat. You were working, she said. Yes. You left a job. I left my brother hanging cabinets. He'll complain for an hour and enjoy every minute of it. I meant, I'll pay you for today. Caleb shut the compartment. Fine. Pay me by helping brace the gate. That isn't the same. It's what I need today. He had brought 2 scrap boards in the truck bed. Together, they pushed the gate post upright. Caleb showed Lily how to hold the level while he drove a temporary stake. Then he handed her the drill. Put 2 screws through here. I know how to use a drill. Good. I won't explain it. She drove the first screw too deep. The second sat cleanly against the board. When they finished, the gate opened without dragging. Lily swung it closed, opened it, and closed it again. That'll hold until we set a new post, Caleb said. If you want the work, I need a price. You'll get one. He walked back toward the office, but Lily stayed beside the repaired gate. John had once offered to teach her how to change the brakes on her car. She told him she could watch a video. Later, when the brakes began grinding, she paid a shop more than she could afford and didn't tell him. Accepting help had always felt like giving someone a handle they could use to move her. Yet the gate stood because Caleb had brought boards, and she had held the level. She followed him inside. Caleb set a lantern on the desk and opened the electrical panel. Most breakers were labeled in John's handwriting. Office lights, heater, east outlets. One label had peeled halfway off. Caleb tested the panel, then looked surprised. There's power to this side. The heater didn't work. Breaker's off. Why? We find out before we turn it on. He checked each visible outlet and traced the heater cable. One outlet had a scorch mark, though it was old and cold. Caleb disconnected it and capped the wires. Then he stood beside the panel. Try the office lights. Lily flipped the breaker. A fluorescent tube above the desk blinked twice. The second tube remained dark. The first settled into a weak but steady glow. Lily looked around the room. The light showed every stain and crack more clearly. It also showed that the office was larger than it had seemed. There were shelves along the far wall, a drain beneath the washroom sink, and solid block between her and the burned part of the mill. Caleb switched on the heater. Dust warmed inside it, filling the room with a dry, unpleasant smell. After a minute, warm air touched Lily's hands. One room, he said. Not safe yet, but it's one room. Lily took off the hard hat and set it on the desk. What would you charge to make it safe? Caleb looked through the office window toward the main building. I've been looking for workshop space, he said. My lease ends in 2 months. If part of this mill can be stabilized, I'd rent it. You'd put your business here? Not tomorrow. That wasn't my question. Yes. If the roof, access, and utilities make sense. Lily had expected charity or a bill she couldn't pay. A possible tenant was neither. He needed something from the property, and the property needed work from him. That felt safer, though it also meant she could no longer pretend she would manage alone. I want everything written down, she said. So do I. And I choose what gets repaired first, as long as the building doesn't choose for us. Lily reached into her pocket and unfolded John's note. Roof first. Keep gate locked. She placed it on the desk beneath the working light. Then we start with the roof, she said. Caleb opened his estimate pad and wrote while Lily held the lantern near his shoulder. Temporary cover over the office roof, he said. Brace the damaged opening between the office and machine room. Replace the gate post. No work under the west roof until I inspect it from above. How do you get above it without going under it? Lift rental. How much? I'll check. She watched the numbers form at the bottom of the page. Even with Caleb charging only for materials and part of his labor, the first stage would take nearly all her savings. That doesn't include cleanup, he said. I can clean. Not the burn section. I can carry things. You can carry anything we know isn't contaminated. Lily folded her arms. Noah called it seed treatment. He was right about that much. John used treated seed here years ago. We test before we stir up ash. How much is testing? Caleb added another line. Lily looked at the total. I need to think. You should. I'll call you tonight. Tomorrow morning is soon enough. Caleb packed his tools. He left one battery lantern on the desk. I can use the flashlight. This lasts longer. I'll return it. I expect you to. That answer made it easier to accept. After he drove away, Lily sat at the metal desk with the estimate and tax notice beside each other. She could pay the taxes or begin making the office safe. She couldn't do both. If she waited on the roof, more water could enter. If she waited on the county, the balance could grow and the property might slip into a process she didn't understand. She took photographs of every page in the contact binder. Then she sent Megan a message. I need any mill records by noon tomorrow. Please don't sort them for me. I'll separate anything unrelated and return it. The message showed as read. Megan didn't answer. Lily waited 5 minutes, then called Caleb. Start with the office roof and the brace, she said. Leave the gatepost temporary. All right. I'll pay for materials tomorrow. I'll send the list first. And I want the testing done. That's the right call. Lily looked at John's coat behind the door. I'm moving into the office. Caleb was quiet for one breath. Then we also need a smoke alarm, a carbon monoxide alarm, and a working exterior light. Add them. The washroom still has no water. I know. Do you have somewhere to stay until it does? Yes. She had a rented basement room in Ogden for another 3 weeks. The commute to the mill would make every workday longer, but 3 weeks was time. After that, she would either have one safe room or a locked property she couldn't afford. The next morning, Lily arrived before Caleb. She brought work gloves, bottled water, a camping mattress, and 2 plastic tubs. One held clothes. The other held every important paper she owned. She set both tubs on the desk, away from the stained corner of the ceiling. Caleb's truck came through the gate just after 8. A small utility trailer followed it, loaded with lumber, roof covering, 2 ladders, and a bundle of metal bracing. You said you were moving in, he said when he saw the mattress. In 3 weeks. Good. You thought I meant today? I've met determined people before. You make that sound like a medical condition? It can be. They worked outside until the morning warmed. Caleb set the ladders only against the office section. He went up first and tested the roof edge with a pry bar. Lily passed materials from below and kept the area clear. The roof covering had torn around several old fasteners. Caleb removed the loose section, cut it back to material that still held, and fixed a temporary membrane over the exposed boards. From the ground, the work looked simple. It wasn't. Every tool had to be placed where it couldn't slide. Every step depended on the board beneath it. Caleb moved slowly, even when the wind dropped. Lily carried damaged material to a clean pile. She marked each piece with chalk, just as Caleb told her, so nothing from the tested area would be confused with debris from the burned section. By noon, the office roof no longer lifted in the wind. Caleb came down and drank half a bottle of water without speaking. His face was red from the cold air. Will it keep rain out? Lily asked. Normal rain. What about abnormal rain? That's why it's temporary. Inside, they built a brace across the doorway to the machine room. The original fire door had been removed, leaving a wide opening. Caleb fitted 2 posts against the block wall and added a crosspiece beneath the sagging header. Lily measured the second post. 93 3/8, she said. Caleb checked it. Correct. You don't have to check every measurement. I check mine too. That ended the argument before it began. She cut the post with his saw. Caleb stood beside her but didn't reach for the tool. When the post fitted without trimming, he handed her the drill. By late afternoon, the office had a covered roof, a braced inner wall, 2 alarms, and an exterior light above the door. The light made a pale circle on the gravel even before sunset. It wasn't a home, Lily knew that. Still, she stood outside and switched the light off, then on again. One deliberate choice had produced something visible. Caleb loaded the scrap lumber. I'll send the sample tomorrow, he said. Results may take several days. What can we do while we wait? Office plumbing, gate post, inspect the east siding, and the mill roof? Not until the test comes back and I rent the lift. Lily looked toward the black opening above the main floor. Every delay costs something. Usually. That doesn't bother you? It bothers me enough to do things in the right order. He took the estimate from his clipboard and crossed out the labor charge for the brace. You worked on it, Lily said. So did you. That wasn't the agreement. No, this is the revised estimate. She wanted to object, but the reduction meant she could buy the new gatepost. More than that, it treated her work as something with a value. Write the reason beside it, she said. Caleb smiled. Why? So we both remember. He wrote owner labor credit and handed the page to her. That evening, Megan finally replied, "The box is ready. Come before 7." Lily drove to John's house in her work clothes. Dust marked both knees, and a thin line of roofing adhesive ran across one sleeve. She considered changing at the pharmacy before leaving Ogden, then decided not to. Noah's truck was in the driveway. The red toolbox had disappeared from beside the back door. So had John's boots and the row of jackets that used to hang in the mudroom. Only one empty hook remained. Megan placed a cardboard file box on the kitchen table. I separated the medical papers, she said. I asked you not to sort it. I wasn't giving you private medical records. Lily lifted the lid. The box contained equipment manuals, utility bills, old seed invoices, and several years of bank statements with the account numbers blacked out. Where did this come from? His bedroom closet? Was it labeled? Property. Which property? That's all it said. Noah opened the refrigerator and took out a bottle of water. There were mouse droppings in it. Mom cleaned the whole thing. Lily worked through the first folders. There was no mill deed, lease, tax history, or insurance policy. Is this everything from the box? Yes, Megan said. You're sure? I spent 2 hours on it. Lily looked at Noah. Did you take any files with the tools? Why would I take files? Grandfather kept machine records in the garage. I took manuals for the equipment I inherited. Were there property papers mixed in? Noah twisted the cap from the bottle. Not that I saw. Megan sat down across from Lily. What exactly are you looking for? I don't know yet. That makes it hard for us to help. Lily heard the familiar invitation. If she explained everything, Megan might become cooperative. She might also decide what Lily was allowed to see. I'll take this box, Lily said. Bring back anything that belongs to the estate. I will. Noah leaned against the counter. How bad is the mill? The office can be repaired. Can be isn't the same as should be. We covered the roof today. You paid somebody already? I hired Caleb Rhodes. Noah glanced at Megan. The name meant something to both of them, though neither explained what. He worked for Grandpa, Noah said. He worked with him. Same difference. It wasn't, and Lily thought Noah knew that. Megan touched the edge of the box. Lily, money spent on that building won't necessarily come back. I didn't expect it to. Then what are you expecting? Lily almost said. Something that stays? The words rose quickly enough to embarrass her. A safe office, she said instead. She carried the box to her car. At the mill, she placed it beneath the desk and turned on the exterior light. The repaired roof stayed quiet in the wind. She spread the tax notice flat beneath the desk lamp and read each line again. The front page showed the amount due and the deadline. A second page carried the assessment details. She had skimmed it at Megan's house because the numbers seemed ordinary. Land value, improvement value, tax district, parcel number. Then she noticed a line near the bottom. Number of improvements, 2. Lily read it again. The burned mill had several sections, but it was one connected building. The office shared a block wall with the main structure. Perhaps the county counted them separately. She searched the assessment website on her phone and entered the parcel number. The page loaded slowly. It listed an industrial mill and a storage structure. Lily stepped outside with her phone and walked the length of the fence. On her side stood the mill, the office attached at its eastern end, and a shallow equipment shelter with no walls. The shelter looked too small and temporary to carry a separate assessment. Beyond the newer wire fence in the neighboring field, she could see the low stone building from John's photograph. It stood 30 or 40 yards away, partly hidden by brush. Its roof appeared intact. Lily zoomed in on the county page. No photograph appeared. There was no description beyond storage structure, and no visible map detailed enough to place it. She called the number on the tax notice the next morning from the pharmacy break room. A county employee confirmed the record after Lily gave the parcel number and deed date. Yes, there are 2 assessed improvements, the woman said. Are the office and mill counted separately? No. The office is included with the industrial building. What's the second one? It's coded agricultural storage. Where is it? I can't tell from this screen. Could it be an error? It could be an old description. It could also be a structure that was removed. The assessment is current. The description can remain until someone reports a change. Lily pressed her thumb against the edge of the tax notice. When was the second improvement added? I don't see an addition date. There was a parcel update in 2022. What kind of update? You'd need the complete parcel history. That's held in the mapping office. Can you send it to me? You can request it. Archive material takes a few business days. Lily looked at the calendar above the break room sink. 19 days remained on the tax deadline. What do you need from me? Proof that you're the owner and a written request. Lily already had both on her phone. Before returning to work, she attached the recorded deed, copied the parcel number, and requested every map and correction connected to the property. The confirmation arrived 1 minute later. Her request had been accepted. It didn't tell her what the second structure was. It did confirm that the county hadn't reached the number by counting the office twice, and that something about the parcel had changed 3 years before John died. Lily forwarded the confirmation to her personal email. Then she called Caleb. When you come back, she said, I need you to look at the fence. Caleb arrived after Lily's shift with a shovel, a post hole digger, and the new gate post strapped to his truck. Lily met him beside the newer wire fence instead of the gate. This is the only building on my side, she said. Caleb looked at the county assessment on her phone. He enlarged the line that listed agricultural storage, then looked across the fence at the stone building. That's storage, he said. It also looks like it belongs to the field. It looks that way because of the fence. Isn't that what fences are for? Sometimes. Sometimes they're put where a tractor can turn. He walked along the wire without touching it. Lily followed through weeds that caught at her work pants. The fence ran straight for about 100 feet, then bent around the burned western corner of the mill. Its posts were newer than the mill's chain-link gate. Several still carried white plastic tags from the fencing supplier. John didn't put this up, Caleb said. You're sure? I helped him repair the old fence after the fire. That one followed the drainage ditch. He pointed to a shallow line in the ground. It began near the road, passed beneath the newer fence, and continued toward the stone building. When was this fence installed? Lily asked. I don't know. Sometime after I stopped working here every week. Which was when? About 4 years ago. Caleb crouched beside a clump of dry grass on the far side of the wire. A square stone rose a few inches above the soil. Most of it was gray, but a streak of faded orange paint marked one corner. Do you see that? The paint. Survey paint. Could be for the fence. Could be. He moved farther west and found another stone near the ditch. It stood well beyond the wire, closer to the seed house. The same orange color showed beneath dirt and lichen. Lily took pictures through the fence. Are those property markers? She asked. Maybe old monuments. Maybe nothing related to your deed. You recognize them. I recognize what survey crews do when they want to find something again. Caleb stood and brushed soil from his gloves. We don't cross until we know whose ground that is. Lily looked at the stone building. It had narrow windows, a green metal roof, and a pair of wide doors facing away from the mill. A gravel track reached it from the adjoining field. The walls were made from large pale stones that looked older than anything else on the property. Have you been inside? She asked. Years ago. John kept bagged seed there. Did he own it? I assumed he did. Why? Because he maintained it. That doesn't prove anything. No. Caleb said it without defensiveness. He understood that she needed facts more than reassurance. They spent the next hour replacing the gate post. The old post came out with a heavy block of wet soil around its base. Lily cleared the hole while Caleb cut the new post to length. They set it in gravel and packed the earth tight before hanging the gate again. This time, it swung without Caleb holding the weight. Lily locked and unlocked it twice. You like testing things, he said. I like knowing what will happen. Buildings will cure you of that. When they finished, Caleb checked the washroom plumbing. A split had opened in the pipe beneath the floor, close enough to the access panel that he could reach it. He replaced the damaged section, opened the main valve slowly, and waited. The pipes knocked inside the wall. Brown water spat from the sink, then ran clear. Lily held her hand beneath it. Don't drink that yet, Caleb said. I wasn't going to. You looked happy enough to. She turned the faucet off. Running water meant the office could be cleaned properly. It also meant she could move in without carrying every gallon from Ogden. Caleb checked the drain and found no leak. Let it run 5 minutes tonight. If the pressure drops, close the valve and call me. What do I owe you? He gave her the receipt for the pipe and wrote 1 hour beside it. That took 2. You dug the post hole. I also watched you fix a pipe. You handed me tools. Lily took out her phone. I'm paying too. Caleb didn't argue. He let her transfer the money, then showed her the payment on his screen. Now, can I ask you something without it becoming part of the bill? She said. You could before. What did Noah mean yesterday? Caleb put his tools back in their case. About what? When I said I hired you, he looked at Megan. They both knew your name. I worked for John. That isn't a secret. It was more than recognition. Caleb closed the case. He didn't like guessing about other people's motives, and Lily could see him choosing his answer. Megan called me after John died, he said. She wanted to know whether the mill could be demolished for the value of the scrap. What did you tell her? That I don't demolish buildings for scrap. Did she ask if it could be repaired? No. When was that? Before the funeral. Lily kept her face still. Megan had known enough to call the person who understood the mill. She simply hadn't asked the question Lily would have asked. Did Noah call you? No. Did you tell Megan about the stone building? It didn't come up. Lily looked through the office window. The working light shone above John's desk. Don't mention the county record to either of them, she said. Caleb lifted his eyebrows. I wasn't planning to call them. I know. I needed to say it. All right. After he left, Lily opened the file box from John's house. She sorted the papers into piles across the desk and floor. Equipment manuals went near the wall. Utility bills stayed beside her. Old seed invoices went into folders by year. Megan had been right about one thing. Most of it wasn't useful. Near the bottom, Lily found a bill from the Box Elder Growers Cooperative. It wasn't a bill to John. It showed a payment for roof repairs to an agricultural storage building at the West Seed Mill address. The work had been completed in 2022. The description didn't identify which roof. Lily searched the cooperative's name. The office had closed for the day, but its website listed Allison Palmer as director. The name appeared twice in John's contact binder, once beside Cooperative and once beside Seed House. Lily left a message. My name is Lily Nguyen. John Nguyen was my grandfather. I own the West Seed Mill now, and I'm trying to identify a storage structure connected to the property. Please call me. She didn't mention the tax record. She didn't mention the stone building. She wanted to hear what Allison knew before giving her an answer to repeat. Allison called at 7 the next morning. Her voice was brisk and fully awake. Are you at the mill? Not yet. Can you meet me there at 8? Yes. Bring proof of ownership. The request unsettled Lily, though it was reasonable. Why? Because I'm not discussing the cooperative's agreement with someone whose name I haven't seen on a deed. I can bring it. Good. 8 o'clock. Allison arrived in a green sport utility vehicle carrying a leather document folder. At 54, she had silver, beginning at her temples, and the steady manner of someone accustomed to ending meetings on time. Lily showed her identification and the recorded deed through the open car window. Allison compared the names. Where is Megan? At my grandfather's house, I assume. She isn't involved with the mill? She transferred it to me through the estate. Allison looked at the fire-damaged roof, then at the new gatepost. Did she tell you about our lease? No. Allison's expression sharpened, but she didn't seem surprised. What do you lease? Lily asked. The Seed House. Which building is that? Allison pointed beyond the wire fence. The stone building stood in the early light, with its green roof bright above the weeds. Lily felt the answer before she trusted it. That building? Yes. Who owns it? That is the question I hoped you could answer. You leased it from my grandfather. We leased it from John. Ownership and authority aren't always the same thing, especially when a boundary is unclear. What boundary? Allison got out and walked with Lily toward the fence. She didn't cross it. The cooperative stored seed there for years, she said. After the fire, access changed. A fence went up, and the road arrangement became awkward. John said the county had corrected the property record. He continued maintaining the roof and renewing our lease. When did he renew it? In 2022. Do you have the lease? Yes. Can I see it? I can show you the portions tied to your property once I know the Seed House is on your property. Lily looked at her. You just asked me to bring my deed. Your deed identifies a legal parcel. It doesn't draw the boundary on the ground for me. Then why did you keep paying John? We didn't pay him directly after the boundary question came up. The rent went into escrow under the lease terms. How much? Allison held Lily's gaze. I'm not giving you a balance until your authority is established. That money belongs to whoever owns the building. Yes. And you don't know who that is. I know what John told me. I also know what I can prove. Lily understood why Allison spoke carefully. She was protecting cooperative money and the growers whose seed remained behind the stone walls. Is the building in use now? Lily asked. Yes. Limited use. Because we haven't had reliable landlord access since John became ill. What does landlord access mean? Roof maintenance, pest control, drainage, keeping the approach passable. Ordinary obligations. Allison opened her folder and removed a single page. It was a cooperative inspection list, not the lease. Several items had been marked deferred: water entering near the north door, brush against the west wall, loose roof fasteners, unverified fire separation from mill operations. If it's mine, I'm responsible for these, Lily said. If it's yours, we need you to decide whether you'll continue the lease. What happens if I don't? We relocate the stored seed and end the agreement under its terms. How soon? The spring intake begins in a few weeks. We can't wait indefinitely. The county tax deadline was already moving toward her. Now the cooperative had its own schedule. Did John say why he kept the lease going after the fire? Lily asked. Allison closed the folder. Because smaller growers needed dry storage they could afford. He charged less than the commercial warehouses. That doesn't sound like him. It does if you knew him here. The words stung because they weren't meant to. Allison looked back toward the mill. John could be impossible. He'd argue over a $5 hinge and then spend a weekend fixing somebody's conveyor for nothing. He believed the seed house should stay useful. Did he tell you I would inherit it? No. He told me the boundary record would outlast everybody's opinion. Lily turned toward the two painted stones beyond the fence. What record? He didn't show me. He said it was recorded with the county. My request is already with the mapping office. Then call me when you have it. Allison handed Lily the inspection page. This doesn't make you our landlord, she said. It tells you what will need attention if you become our landlord. She started toward her vehicle. Allison. She stopped. Was my grandfather still coming out here near the end? Not often. When he couldn't come, he called me every Monday. Megan had told Lily that John stopped managing the mill long before his death. Lily had accepted that because she hadn't seen him working. Allison had. What did he ask? Lily said. The same three things. Whether the roof was dry, whether the lock worked, and whether the growers had what they needed. Allison drove away. Lily stood beside the fence holding the inspection list. The stone building was no longer an abandoned shape in someone else's field. It held seed, a living agreement, and work. John had continued after everyone around him treated the mill as finished. Her phone rang. Noah's name appeared on the screen. I heard you're asking questions about the property, he said. Before you spend any more money, we should talk. What do you want to talk about? Lily asked. Not on the phone. I'm working. I can come by this evening. She looked toward the stone building. Come at 6. Noah hesitated. He had expected her to meet wherever he chose. Fine, he said. At the mill. He arrived 12 minutes early in John's truck. Lily recognized the dent above the rear wheel and the strip of silver tape around the passenger mirror. Seeing Noah behind the wheel felt stranger than seeing Megan in John's house. He parked outside the gate and waited for Lily to unlock it. You replaced the post, he said. Yes. How much have you put into this place? That isn't what you came to ask. Noah walked into the yard with his hands in his jacket pockets. He looked at the covered office roof, the exterior light, and the materials stacked beside the wall. Mom's worried. You're going to drain your savings. Did she send you? No? Then what do you want? He looked toward the burned section. I could take the property off your hands. You told me I didn't want it. You don't. That isn't an answer. Noah walked closer to the main building but stayed behind Caleb's chalk line. I've been thinking about the scrap. Some of the old motors might still be inside. Steel shafts, copper wiring, things like that. You want to buy it for scrap? I could handle the demolition. You can't. The words were blunt, but his voice was almost kind. That was how Noah made his pressure easier to accept. He gave it the shape of a favor. How much? Lily asked. $3,000. I'd also cover the delinquent tax. It was more cash than Lily had expected, and far less than the likely cost of removing the burned structure. The offer didn't make sense unless Noah believed he could recover money somewhere. Did Megan tell you to offer that? I told you, this is me. Where would you get the demolition money? I have equipment contacts. You inherited a trailer and tools, not an excavator. I know people. Lily looked at John's truck. You didn't want the mill at the distribution. Nobody did. You want it now because I repaired a gate? I want to stop you from making a mistake. Why did you ask Caleb about scrap before grandfather's funeral? Noah's face changed. Only slightly, but Lily saw it. Mom asked him, he said. You knew. I knew she was checking the liability. Then why not take it before it came to me? Because we were following Grandpa's papers. The answer sounded borrowed from Megan. Noah stepped nearer the office window. The contact binder lay open on the desk, but Lily had placed the tax notice and Allison's inspection sheet inside a drawer. I saw Allison Palmer leaving this morning, he said. There it was. You drove past? I was taking the truck out toward Corinne. What does that have to do with buying the mill? She runs the growers' cooperative. I wondered why she was here. You can ask her. I'm asking you. Lily unlocked the office, went inside, and returned with the unsigned quitclaim deed Megan had placed in the file box. She held it out. I already answered this offer once. Noah didn't take the paper. 3,000 isn't nothing. No, it's 3,000. I'd pay the tax too. And then what? I told you. Clear the site. What about the building beyond the fence? He glanced toward the stone roof. What about it? Do you know who owns it? The field owner, I assume. You've been around this property longer than I have. Not much. Grandfather never talked about it? No. Noah's answer came after a pause, but Lily couldn't tell whether he was hiding something or searching his memory. He looked genuinely uncertain when he studied the fence. Lily folded the quitclaim again. I'm not selling. You haven't even heard what demolition costs. Neither have you. I'm trying to give you a way out. I didn't ask for one. Noah's patience thinned. You always do this. Do what? Turn help into some test nobody knows they're taking. Lily nearly answered that. Family help usually arrived with a signature line. Instead, she opened the gate. I have work to finish. Noah returned to the truck. Before he got in, he looked once more toward the stone building. The next morning, Caleb brought the sample results. He set the report on the office desk and kept his hand on it until Lily had stopped searching his face for good news. The office and east side dust came back clear enough for normal repair work, he said. The burned debris didn't. What did they find? Residue from older seed treatments. The lab recommendation is controlled removal. We can't shovel it into a trailer or take it to an ordinary dump. How dangerous is it? Danger depends on what you do with it. Leave it undisturbed and keep this opening sealed, your risk is low. Start sweeping and cutting in there, the risk changes. Lily read the short report. The words were plain, but the numbers meant nothing to her. So, the office is safe? Once we put solid sheathing over the brace and seal the edges. And the rest? We get a cleanup estimate. How much will that be? I won't guess. Everyone keeps saying that, right before the number gets worse. Caleb pulled a pencil from behind his ear. Then, let's get one useful number. He measured the opening between the office and machine room. Lily wrote each measurement on the back of the report. They cut plywood outside and fitted it against the new frame. Caleb sealed the edges while Lily fastened the sheets. By noon, the smell of wet ash no longer moved into the office when the wind changed. Caleb used a small air meter near the desk and then beside the sealed opening. This doesn't certify the whole room forever, he said. It confirms the separation is working today. Can I move in? After we watch it through one rain and check the heater vent. That answer was better than no. Lily's phone rang while she swept clean sawdust into a bag. The county mapping office had pulled the archived parcel material. The oldest sheets could not be sent electronically because of their size and condition. She could examine them at the county counter on Friday morning. Can I get copies? Lily asked. Staff can scan the relevant pages after you identify them. Is the 2022 update there? Yes. It's listed as a correction map. What did it correct? The counter staff can help you read the notation. Friday was 6 days before the tax deadline. Lily booked the first appointment. When she ended the call, Caleb was tightening the last screw in the wall sheathing. They found the record, she said. I can see it Friday. That's cutting it close. I know. What happens to the tax balance if the property record is wrong? I still owe it. I own the parcel. He nodded toward the stone building. Even if that isn't part of it, the county employee wouldn't answer that. Caleb gathered the clean scraps. Then we need to know whether that building is worth taking responsibility for before Friday. Lily called Allison. Allison agreed to meet them at the seed house that afternoon, but she set clear terms. They could inspect the building under the cooperative's access. They could not alter it, remove anything, or treat the visit as proof of ownership. The gravel track approached from the far side of the field. Allison waited beside the green doors with a ring of keys. How did you reach this road? Lily asked. Temporary access agreement with the adjoining field owner, Allison said. It covers cooperative vehicles, not construction traffic. So if the seed house is mine, I can't drive to it from the mill, not with the fence where it is. Allison unlocked the doors. Cool, dry air came out, carrying the dusty smell of burlap and grain. Rows of seed sacks stood on wooden pallets. Each stack had a card identifying the grower, seed type, and intake date. Metal bins lined the rear wall. The stone walls were nearly 2 feet thick. Lily stepped inside and looked up. Heavy timber rafters crossed beneath the green roof. Some were dark with age, but none showed fire damage. A narrow stain ran down the wall near the north door. Caleb examined it without touching the seed. "The flashing above this door is lifting," he said. "That's probably the water Allison listed." "Can it be fixed?" Lily asked. "Easily, if I'm allowed onto the roof." Allison pointed to 3 sacks nearest the damp wall. "Those arrived yesterday." The floor was dry then. Lily crouched and touched the bottom corner of the closest sack. The burlap felt cool but not wet. "We should move them," she said. Allison checked the tags before giving permission. Together, they shifted the 3 sacks onto an empty pallet farther from the wall. Each one took both Lily and Caleb to lift. Allison recorded the new location on her inspection sheet. When they moved the last sack, Lily found a shallow puddle beginning beneath it. The seed was dry. It was a small result, but it mattered to someone whose name was written on the card. Caleb placed a clean collection tray beneath the drip. That buys a day or two. Allison looked at Lily. "The cooperative can approve an emergency weather repair. We'd pay the contractor and account for it under the lease. That still doesn't settle who receives rent or who holds the long-term duty." "Have Caleb fix it," Lily said. "You can't authorize that." "I'm not. You can." Allison considered Caleb. "Can you do it tomorrow?" "Yes. Send me the price tonight." Caleb nodded. They continued through the building. The rear door had a working lock. The bins were sound. The electrical panel had been inspected the previous year. Most of the deferred work involved brush, drainage, and the uncertain approach from the mill. On the inside of the green doors, someone had written maintenance dates in black marker. John's initials appeared beside each one. The last was from the summer before he died. Lily ran her finger near the letters without touching them. "He did all this while Megan thought he'd stopped managing the place," she said. Allison closed one of the metal bins. "I can't speak to what Megan thought. Did Noah ever come here with him? Not while I was present." The answer gave Lily less than she wanted, but more than a guess. Outside, Caleb studied the line between the seed house and the mill. From this side, the 2 painted stone monuments were easier to see. They formed a line that didn't follow the newer fence. He took photographs and measured the distance between them with a laser tool. "This isn't a survey," he said before Lily could ask. "What is it?" "A reason not to ignore them." Allison locked the green doors. At the mill gate, John's truck was waiting again. Noah stood beside it with his phone in one hand. He had watched them come back from the seed house. "I thought you said you didn't know who owned that building," he said. "I don't," Lily answered. "Then why are you inside it?" "The cooperative gave us access." Noah looked at Allison, then Caleb. The easy concern he had brought the day before was gone. "My offer was for the burned mill," he said. "If you're trying to attach something else to it, that's an estate issue." Lily held the gate key between her fingers. "I'm going to the county on Friday." Noah looked past her toward the painted stones. "Then Megan and I will be there too." Noah got into the truck before Lily could answer. He backed onto West Forest Street and drove away with more speed than the road required. Allison watched until the truck disappeared. "He didn't know about the lease," she said. "No." "Does Megan?" "I don't know." Allison's mouth tightened. "You need to find out before Friday." "Why?" "Because if they challenge your authority, I have to stop discussing lease details with you until the ownership question is settled. You already saw my deed. I saw that you own the name parcel. I haven't seen proof that the seed house sits inside it." Lily looked toward the office, where the clean plywood now sealed the opening to the burned mill. "So Noah only has to object," she said. "He can object all day. That doesn't make him right. It does mean I keep cooperative money where it is until the record is clear." "How much money?" Allison looked at Caleb, then back at Lily. "Not here." "When?" "Come to the cooperative office tomorrow morning. I'll show you the account history. You won't receive copies until we have the boundary proof." Lily had a pharmacy shift in Ogden at 9. "I can be there at 7:30, she said. Allison agreed. Caleb waited until she had driven away before speaking. "You're working tomorrow. I'll be late." "Can you afford that?" "No." "Then I'll go." "She won't show you the account." "I can fix the roof without seeing the account. And I can't decide whether any of this is worth keeping without seeing it." Caleb tied the ladders onto his trailer. "You're deciding whether the money makes it worth keeping?" "I'm deciding whether I can carry the cost." "That's different." Lily knew it was. She also knew the pharmacy counted lateness in 15-minute marks, and her supervisor had already warned everyone that summer schedules were tight. If she missed the first part of her shift, she would lose the hours. If she called out, she could lose the whole day. Caleb handed her a copy of the seed house repair estimate. The cooperative would pay for the emergency flashing work. Nothing on the page made Lily responsible, but the sight of another building's needs gave her a tired feeling behind her eyes. Will you finish before the rain? She asked. If it arrives when the forecast says. And if it comes early, then we move faster. It came early. Rain began just before dawn, light at first, then steady enough to drum on Lily's rented basement window. She had spent the night packing instead of sleeping. Her final rent payment was due the following week. Renewing the room would use money needed for the county tax. Leaving meant the office would become her only place. At 6, she called the pharmacy and said she would be late. She didn't invent an illness. She simply said she had a property emergency and would arrive by 10. The lost hour calculation was easy. The harder part was hearing disappointment in the brief answer. Lily loaded her plastic tubs, camping mattress, bedding, electric kettle, and 2 grocery bags into her car. She left 1 set of clean work clothes hanging in the basement room. Everything else fit. The cooperative office occupied part of a low metal building south of town. Allison let Lily in through the side door at 7:28. You didn't have to come early for me, Lily said. I'm usually here. Allison led her to a small conference room. A printed account sheet lay face down on the table. Before I show you this, I need to be precise, Allison said. This is information related to the lease John signed. It does not mean the cooperative accepts you as landlord. I understand. It also doesn't establish the boundary. I understand that too. Allison turned over the paper. Rent payments had entered an escrow account each month. Repairs approved under the lease had been deducted, including the roof work in 2022 and several smaller maintenance charges. The current balance appeared at the bottom. $38,400. Lily read the figure twice. All of that is rent? She asked. Rent held while the boundary and landlord authority remained unresolved. Why didn't John collect it? He tried to resolve the record first. The county corrected something in 2022. That is what he told me. If the record was corrected, why didn't you release the money to him? Because a corrected map on file still has to match the building on the ground. John intended to bring a surveyor out. Then his health declined. Lily placed both palms flat on the table. The amount could clear the tax, pay for controlled cleanup, and leave enough to begin permanent roof work. It could also disappear from the problem as quickly as it had appeared. If the stone building stood outside her parcel, none of it belonged to her. What happens to the money if nobody proves ownership? She asked. It stays in escrow until the lease ends or the proper landlord is established. The cooperative doesn't keep it. Could Megan claim it for the estate? She could claim anything she wants. We release it only to the party with the authority over the leased building. Could Noah? Not with a truck and an opinion. Lily almost smiled. Allison didn't. There's another part you need to understand, Allison said. The money isn't a prize for finding the right paper. It comes with the lease. If you become the landlord, you take the maintenance duties from the date authority is established. Even the deferred ones, some can be scheduled. Safety and weather protection can't. Allison slid the inspection list beside the account sheet. Why are you showing me the balance now? Lily asked. Because you're spending money on the mill and losing work time to be here. You need to know the scale of the choice. But you may not photograph or copy this page today. Lily sat back. She had wanted the number because numbers were clean. This one wasn't. It was money tied to seed owned by people she hadn't met, a building she couldn't yet reach from her own gate, and maintenance John had continued until he no longer could. Did he ask you to hold it for me? She said. No. Did he ever say my name? Once. Lily waited. He said his granddaughter knew what it meant when a door only opened from one side. That's all? That's all he said about you. It sounded like John. It also sounded unfair. He had left meaning where instructions should have been. Lily pushed the account sheet back toward Allison. Caleb will repair the flashing today. I approved his estimate. I'll be there. You have work. I've already lost the morning. Don't lose the day to watch a contractor work. I won't be watching. At the mill, rainwater ran along the gravel drive and pooled against the newer wire fence. Caleb had positioned his ladder on the sheltered side of the seed house. Allison unlocked the doors and moved the nearest pallets farther from the north wall, while Lily carried empty boards and tags out of the way. Caleb went onto the roof when the rain weakened. The flashing above the door had pulled free from rotted fasteners. He removed it, replaced the damaged strip beneath, and reset the metal with new screws and sealant. Lily stayed below, keeping tools dry and checking the collection tray. The drip slowed, then it stopped. Allison marked the repair time on her sheet. That protects the intake space, she said. For now. It was the first work done on the seed house since John died. The cooperative had authorized it, Caleb had completed it, and Lily had helped without pretending the building was already hers. Her phone rang at 9:40. The pharmacy needed to know whether she was coming. Lily looked at her soaked sleeves, the pallets filling the doorway, and the water running across the road. "I can be there by 11:30, she said. The answer was quiet. Her remaining morning hours had already been assigned to someone else. She could work from noon until close. Lily thanked the supervisor and ended the call. She had lost 3 hours of pay, plus the fuel for 2 extra trips. The amount was small beside the escrow balance and painfully large beside the money in her checking account. When the roof repair was finished, Caleb walked the interior with his moisture meter. The wall began drying almost at once. "This place is in better condition than the mill office," he said. "It has been maintained," Allison replied. "John chose where to spend the little money he had," Caleb said. Lily heard what neither of them added. He had protected the useful building while letting his own office roof fail. Outside, water had gathered against the fence in a long, shallow pool. The newer posts crossed the old drainage line and trapped weeds, leaves, and mud. Caleb pointed at the blockage. "That's why the approach stays wet. If we clear it, the water drains toward the mill," Lily said. "It follows the old ditch, across both sides of the fence." "Yes, can we clear it?" "Not until we know whether you have the right to work beyond the wire." The fence made every ordinary task into a boundary question. It blocked vehicles, trapped water, and separated the mill from a building John had continued serving. Lily drove to the pharmacy in wet shoes. She worked until closing and returned to the mill after dark. The office roof had held through the rain. No water marked the new plywood. The air meter gave the same reading Caleb had recorded the day before. Lily carried her plastic tubs inside. She made 3 trips from the car. On the last one, she brought the camping mattress and her kettle. She locked the gate, checked it, and switched on the exterior light. The office heater warmed the room slowly. Lily spread the mattress beside the desk and hung her clothes where John's coat had been. She moved his coat to a clean hook near the corkboard. At 9, Megan knocked on the office door. Lily hadn't heard a car. Megan had parked outside the gate and walked through the rain. "You're living here," Megan said. "I'm moving in. This is exactly what I was afraid of." Lily set down the mug she was drying. "Noah told you about the seed house. He told me you went into a building beyond the property fence. With Allison. That doesn't make it yours." "I didn't say it did." Megan looked around the office. Her eyes settled on John's coat. "Dad stopped using this place," she said. "No. He stopped telling you about it. You don't know that. Allison spoke to him every Monday." Megan's face went still. "You didn't know," Lily said. "I was managing his medical appointments, his meals, his house. I couldn't monitor every phone call. I didn't ask why you didn't monitor it. Then, what are you accusing me of?" "Nothing." The word frustrated Megan more than an accusation would have. Lily opened the desk drawer and took out the unsigned quitclaim. "You wanted this property gone before you understood what was attached to it. I understood there was a burned building and a tax bill. You didn't ask Caleb whether it could be repaired. I had an estate to close, and I made it easy for you." Megan frowned. "What does that mean?" "I took the $1 property. I didn't challenge the list. I didn't ask why Noah got tools that still worked, or why your name was on everything useful. You signed the distribution." "Yes." Lily had signed because refusing would have meant standing in John's dining room and asking Megan to treat her as equally wanted. She had preferred the burned mill to hearing the answer. That was her part in it. Megan controlled the terms, but Lily had spent years acting grateful for any place her name appeared. "I'm not giving it back," Lily said. "Because there may be money, because people are using the seed house. You don't know that it's yours." "No, but I know it matters now." Megan looked through the wet window toward the dark outline beyond the fence. "If that building was missed in probate, it belongs with the estate," she said. "If it's part of my deed, it came through probate with the mill. We'll see on Friday." Megan turned to leave. Lily opened the door for her. Rain blew against the threshold, but none entered through the repaired roof. She had begun by trying to make one office safe enough to keep. That was no longer enough. By Friday, she needed to learn whether John had left her a liability or trusted her with a working place other people depended on. She closed the door after Megan and locked it. Then she took a sheet of paper from the desk and wrote 3 questions. What must be paid? What must be repaired? Who is depending on the property? The first answer was on the tax notice. The second had begun with Caleb's estimates. The third was stored in sacks across the fence. Lily had spent years waiting for family information to reach her after everyone else had handled it. She wasn't going to wait now. At 7 the next morning, she called the county mapping office. She asked what she would need if the correction map showed a boundary different from the fence. "A county map is a recorded reference," the employee said. "It doesn't move a fence for you." "What does?" A licensed surveyor can locate the recorded line on the ground. Does the county send one? No. The property owner hires one. How long does that take? You'd have to ask a surveyor. Lily wrote the answer under her 3 questions. She called 4 local surveying firms before the pharmacy opened. 2 had no availability that month. 1 could send someone the following week. The 4th had a cancellation Friday afternoon, but only if Lily provided the correction map before noon. She booked the time with a deposit from her remaining savings. The deposit left less than enough to cure the tax. If the map showed nothing useful, she would have paid to measure a liability she already owned. Lily accepted that before she pressed the payment button. At lunch, she called Allison. If the county record supports my deed, I'm having the boundary checked Friday, Lily said. If the survey confirms the seed house is inside it, I intend to continue the lease. Allison didn't answer immediately. Have you read the lease? No. You won't show it to me. I'll let you review a working copy at my office. You still can't sign for the cooperative or direct the escrow. That's enough for now? When? Tonight. Allison set a time. Lily's next call was to Caleb. I need 2 estimates, she said. 1 for the required seed house work, based on the inspection list. 1 for enough mill restoration to create a separate workshop. You've decided on the workshop? I've decided to see whether your plan works on paper. That isn't the same thing. No. Good. Why is that good? Because if you'd decided before seeing the cost, I'd wonder whether I should rent from you. He agreed to meet at the mill after 6. Lily didn't call Megan. She didn't ask Noah what they planned for Friday. At 5, she sent them both the same short message. I will review the county material at my scheduled appointment. I have arranged field verification if the record supports it. You may attend the county appointment, but I won't discuss transfer or sale before the record is examined. Noah read it first. Megan read it 10 minutes later. Neither answered. At the cooperative office, Allison placed a copy of the lease on the conference table. The names and legal description were visible. The banking page had been removed. Lily read each section slowly. The cooperative paid monthly rent for storage access. The landlord kept the building weather-tight, maintained the approach, handled ordinary structural repair, and gave reasonable notice before entering stored areas. The cooperative covered utilities related to seed storage and minor damage caused by its own use. The lease renewed every 3 years unless either side gave notice. John had signed the most recent renewal in 2022. What is this paragraph? Lily asked. Allison leaned over the page. If access from West Forest Street becomes unavailable, the landlord has to provide a practical alternate route, or allow the cooperative to arrange one. The current route crosses someone else's field, under our temporary agreement. Who pays for that? The cooperative does. We can't rely on it forever. If the fence moved to the recorded boundary, would the old route from the mill work? That depends on where the boundary is. Lily marked the paragraph with a removable tab. You're reading for reasons to refuse, Allison said. I'm reading for reasons I might have to. Fair. Did grandfather ever miss a repair? He delayed some. Did the cooperative threaten to end the lease? We sent required notices. John responded to everyone. How? Usually by showing up with Caleb. Allison turned to the inspection list. There is one thing the written lease won't tell you. The growers trust this building because John kept their seeds separate and dry. If ownership turns into a family fight that blocks access, I'll move everything before spring intake. How much time would that take? Several days. How much time are you giving me? Until the end of next week. The tax deadline came first. Lily wrote both dates on her copy of the inspection list. If I prove ownership and accept the lease, will you leave the seed in place? If the building remains safe and you give us an access plan, I'll have one. That is a promise. Yes. Allison studied her. Then I'll delay relocation preparations until the survey result. Not beyond that. It was the first decision anyone had made because Lily asked. The cooperative would wait. That success carried weight. Growers would plan around the building staying open, and Caleb would spend time pricing repairs. Lily had moved beyond protecting an empty office. Other people could now lose something if she failed. At the mill, Caleb had already set 2 lanterns inside the east side loading area. He had not crossed the sealed opening. Instead, he entered through an exterior door, untouched by the fire, and checked the framing from the clean side. This room could be separated from the damaged bay, he said. Not immediately. We'd need an air barrier, power, heat, and a safe exit. How large is it? Just under 1,200 square feet. What would you use it for? Bench repairs? Cabinet work? Small equipment. Nothing that needs heavy truck access inside. You'd rent it before the rest of the mill was rebuilt, if the separation passed inspection. Lily pointed toward the roof. And if that section keeps leaking, then I wouldn't. He handed her a rough sketch. A solid wall divided the proposed workshop from the burned area. A workbench ran beneath the east windows. He had drawn a small enclosed storage room near the office. Where would you enter? She asked. Existing loading door. Where would customers park? Along the gravel, but not until the ground is improved. And your rent? I'll give you a number with the estimate, not labor instead of rent. Caleb looked at her. I was going to suggest partial labor credit. I need the arrangement to stay clear. It can be clear and still include credit. Then every hour and material receipt is written down. Agreed. She looked at the drawing again. It was the first time anyone had put a future use for the mill onto paper. The burned building still surrounded them, cold and damaged. But one clean room now had a possible door, workbench, and monthly purpose. Caleb took the drawing back. Before any of that, we deal with water. Rain had left a wide, muddy strip along Lily's side of the newer fence. They couldn't clear the block section beyond it, but they could reopen the ditch from the office to the wire. Lily used the shovel while Caleb cut dead weeds with a hand tool. They removed mud, broken boards, and a length of collapsed drainpipe. Water began moving through the shallow channel. At the fence, it slowed against packed grass. Caleb used a rake through the wire without stepping across. He pulled loose weeds from beneath the bottom strand. A dark ribbon of water passed under the fence and continued toward the second painted stone. Is that allowed? Lily asked. I removed weeds from your side. You reach through. Report me. The water kept moving. Within minutes, the pool beside the office dropped enough to expose gravel. Lily stood with both hands resting on the shovel handle. The repair did not establish a boundary. It didn't prove the seed house belonged to her. It simply restored the path water had followed before someone placed a fence across it. Caleb set 2 marker flags beside the cleared ditch. Why the flags? She asked. So nobody drives over it before it dries. A truck slowed on West Forest Street. Noah was behind the wheel. Megan sat beside him. They continued past without turning in. They're checking what you're doing, Caleb said. I know. You want me here Friday? Yes. At the county? No. At the field check, if it happens. Caleb nodded. I'll make time. That night, Lily moved the last of her belongings out of the basement room. She returned the key, loaded the clean work clothes from the closet, and drove north. When she reached the mill, the cleared gravel beside the office was no longer underwater. The new gatepost held straight. Warm light showed through the cracked office window. She carried her bedding inside and made the camping mattress properly. The kettle sat on a metal tray. Her documents went into the desk's locking drawer. John's note remained beneath the lamp. Before sleeping, Lily emailed Allison a short statement. If ownership is verified, I intend to honor the current lease and begin the required access and weather repairs. She copied Caleb so he could price the work against an actual intention, not a vague possibility. Then she copied Megan and Noah. She attached no theories and asked no permission. At 8 the next morning, Allison answered that the cooperative acknowledged Lily's conditional intention and would wait for the field result before moving stored seed. Caleb replied with a photograph of his first estimate page and a note that he would finish the rest by evening. Megan sent nothing. Noah called. Lily let the phone ring until it stopped. He called again. This time, she answered. You contacted the cooperative as if you own their building, he said. I told them I'll act if ownership is verified. You copied us after making arrangements. I informed you. Mom is still executor. The mill deed is recorded in my name. The building outside the fence wasn't valued in the estate. I don't know whether it's outside my parcel. That's not what I mean. I know. Noah lowered his voice. If there is rent attached to that building, it should be divided. Lily looked toward the stone roof beyond the fence. Allison had kept the escrow amount confidential. Lily hadn't mentioned it to Megan or Noah. I didn't tell you there was rent, she said. Noah went quiet. Then he said, It was a seed house. Of course there was rent. You said you knew nothing about it. I said I didn't know who owned it. That isn't the same answer. Lily could hear Megan speaking near him, too low to make out the words. Noah covered the phone, then returned. Don't sign anything with the cooperative, he said. I can't sign until the boundary is verified. Good. Keep it that way. He ended the call. Lily set the phone on John's desk. Her plan had worked once. The cooperative would wait, Caleb was pricing a useful future, and the water moved through the old ditch again. It had also given Megan and Noah exactly what they lacked before, a place to aim their pressure. Allison called 10 minutes later. I received an email from Megan, she said. She identified herself as executor and disputed your authority over the seed house. What did she send? The probate inventory and a statement that the stone building may have been omitted from the distribution. The deed wasn't omitted. I know what your deed says. I still don't know where it lies on the ground. Lily sat at John's desk. You said you would wait for the field result. I said I would wait if the property remains stable. Your family has now given the cooperative competing claims. They don't have a deed. They have an executor asserting that an estate asset was missed. I'm not deciding whether she is right. So what changes? I have to prepare for relocation. You agreed to wait. I agreed before Megan stated that our lease might involve an undistributed asset. Lily looked at the calendar. The survey is tomorrow afternoon. If you provide a certified field result by the end of the day, I can stop the move. Otherwise, loading begins Monday morning. That's 3 days earlier than you gave me. Yes. Why? Because moving seed takes time, and spring intake does not move for a family disagreement. Allison's voice remained even, but regret sat beneath it. She had given Lily a chance. Now she had growers to protect. Did Megan ask for the escrow? Lily said. She asked us to hold all funds for the estate. You were already holding them. Yes. Her email didn't gain her anything there. It cost me time. Yes. After the call, Lily opened the message thread with Megan and Noah. Her own email had told them the cooperative would wait for a field result. Megan had used that information before the morning ended. Lily didn't answer immediately. She called the survey firm instead. The field appointment was still available. The remaining fee had to be paid before the surveyor left the office Friday afternoon. If extra work was required, Lily would receive a separate estimate. She checked her bank balance. After the deposit, roof materials, alarms, plumbing, testing, and moving costs, she had enough for one of two things. She could keep the money ready for the county tax, though it still wouldn't cover the entire balance. Or she could pay for the survey and reduce her account to what she needed for groceries and fuel. She closed the payment page without submitting it. Caleb arrived near noon with both estimates. They stood in the office because the wind had returned. The heater clicked beneath the window. The cleanup company can remove the burned debris and document disposal, he said. Their price doesn't include rebuilding. Lily read the total. It was more than she had earned in 4 months at the pharmacy. The workshop separation is less, Caleb said. But I wouldn't build it before the cleanup. Too much chance we'd have to remove part of the wall again. So your workshop is months away, at best. You need space in 2 months. I do. She put both estimates on the desk. Then this may not work for you. Maybe not on your schedule. Lily looked at the rough workshop drawing on the corkboard. Have you found another place? I'm looking at one tomorrow. The answer hurt more than it should have. Caleb needed a workshop, not a cause. He had a business to keep operating. You should take it if it works, she said. I know. Don't wait because of this. I'm not waiting because of this. I'm giving it until I have the facts. That sounds like waiting. Caleb leaned against the desk. You're allowed to need something from people without becoming responsible for every choice they make. I'm not asking you to stay. I noticed. He tapped Megan's email where Lily had printed it. What does Allison need to stop the move? A certified field result by tomorrow evening. And the surveyor? Payment. You have it? Yes. She folded the estimates and placed them in the contact binder. Caleb waited. That wasn't an answer. It was the answer you're getting. He didn't offer to pay. Lily was relieved. If he had, refusing would waste time they no longer had, and accepting would blur every term she had worked to keep clear. Can we do anything useful today? She asked. Yes. Document the site before someone claims the fence has always been the boundary. They started at the road. Caleb placed a measuring rod beside the gate while Lily photographed the full entrance. They recorded the ditch, newer wire posts, painted stones, mill corners, and visible foundation of the seed house. He photographed Lily's deed beside the parcel number, not as boundary proof, but as a record of what document they were working from. At the western corner, the weeds hid most of the first stone monument. Lily stayed on her side and used the rake to pull the dry grass away. The orange paint became visible from the fence. Caleb took photographs from 3 angles. Would a surveyor use these? Lily asked. They'll use their own measurements. These show condition before the visit. Before what? Before anyone moves a marker, cuts a fence, or drives over it. Lily looked at him. Do you think Noah would do that? I think people stand too close to important things when they don't understand them. They continued. Near the road, Lily found a narrow gap beneath the wire where water had carried away loose soil. A line of older fence staples lay rusting in the ditch. Caleb picked one up, photographed it in place, then put it back. The old fence may have followed this line, he said. Can that help? It can help explain the site. It does not establish ownership. Every useful fact stopped at the same place. Only the recorded line matched on the ground could carry them farther. They finished by placing bright flags on Lily's side, opposite each painted stone. The flags didn't claim anything. They allowed the surveyor to locate the area without wasting time. A vehicle pulled up outside the gate. Megan entered first. Noah followed with a folder under his arm. Caleb stayed near the ditch. "We need to speak privately," Megan said. "You can speak here," Lily replied. "This is an estate matter. Then Caleb can hear it. He's working on the property." Noah gave a small shake of his head. "You're making everything harder than it needs to be." Lily waited. Megan took a paper from the folder. It was a printed proposal, unsigned. "If the county record places the seed house inside the parcel, the estate will need to address the valuation error," Megan said. "I'm offering a way to avoid a formal dispute." "What way?" "You acknowledge that any value tied to the seed house remains part of your grandfather's estate. We reimburse your documented mill expenses and resolve the distribution again. You get the building back. The estate gets the opportunity to distribute it fairly. To you and Noah, to all beneficiaries under Dad's plan. His plan gave me the parcel. His plan gave you a burned mill valued at $1. Megan said it too quickly. Then she heard the problem in her own words. Lily looked at the paper. "You believe the deed transferred only the burned building. Yes, you didn't check the parcel history. No one had reason to. Grandfather did." Noah stepped forward. "We don't know what Grandpa did yet. That's why we should agree before everybody spends more money." "What do you want?" Lily asked him. "If the seed house is operating, I can manage it. I have the truck and equipment trailer. I know the local suppliers. You offered to demolish the property yesterday. The situation changed. For you. For everyone." Noah opened the folder to another page. "You could keep the office. Mom could handle the estate side. I'd take an operating share and coordinate with the cooperative. What would I have? You'd be reimbursed. For what? Everything you spent, plus something for your time." Lily looked at Megan. "Is this your proposal or his? We discussed it together. Did you discuss it before you gave me the mill?" Megan's face tightened. "There was no seed house issue then?" "There was. You didn't know about it." Megan lowered the paper. "Lily, if you force this into a dispute, the tax keeps running. The building keeps deteriorating. The cooperative leaves. What exactly are you trying to protect? A place that still works. You have no experience running it. Neither does Noah." "I have equipment," Noah said. "You have grandfather's equipment. He left it to me, and he left the mill to me." Silence settled in the office. Megan looked at the camping mattress, the electric kettle, and Lily's clothes hanging near John's coat. "You're risking your housing over a boundary line," she said. "This is my housing. That room is not a home." Lily had believed the same thing when she moved in. Hearing Megan say, it changed the shape of the thought. "It has a lock," Lily said. "It has heat. The roof is dry because I repaired it. Caleb repaired it. I worked beside him." Caleb said nothing. He didn't need to support a fact he had witnessed. Megan placed the proposal on the desk. "Read it before tomorrow?" "No, you haven't read it." "I'm not agreeing before the record is examined. If the survey costs money, the estate won't reimburse it unless you sign." "I understand." Noah looked toward the flags beside the fence. "You already hired someone. For tomorrow afternoon." His jaw shifted. The survey was no longer a possibility he could talk her out of. It was an appointment. Megan picked up the proposal. "Allison won't release anything while there is a dispute, I know, and if the cooperative moves out, the lease may be worth nothing." "I know that too." They left through the gate. Megan walked ahead. Noah stopped beside the nearest flag. 3,000 still stands, he said. "Only for the mill as it sits. Once you pay for a survey, that's your loss." He followed Megan to the truck. Lily waited until they had driven away. Then she walked to the office, opened the survey firm's payment page, and entered the final amount. Caleb stood outside while she did it. When the confirmation appeared, her available balance fell low enough to make her stomach tighten. She forwarded the receipt to the survey office. Then she sent Allison one sentence. "The field verification is paid and will proceed tomorrow." Lily had chosen the only proof that could settle the fence against the recorded parcel. If it failed, she would still own the burned mill, lose the cooperative, and face the tax without the money she had set aside. She pressed send anyway. The office felt smaller after that. Lily lay awake on the camping mattress and listened to the heater cycle. Every click reminded her that electricity cost money. The lantern charging beside the desk cost money. Driving to the county, missing work, and hiring a surveyor all cost money. At 2 in the morning, she opened her bank account again. The payment had cleared. She didn't cancel it. By 7:30, Lily was outside the county building with the recorded deed in a plastic folder. Megan and Noah arrived together. Noah carried the same folder from the day before. Megan looked at Lily's damp shoes. "Did you sleep at the mill?" "Yes. You could have stayed at the house last night." The offer came after Lily no longer needed it. Megan seemed to realize that as soon as she spoke. "I had somewhere to sleep," Lily said. They entered without discussing it further. The mapping counter stood at the rear of a public records room. Large flat cabinets lined one wall. Rolled maps occupied open shelves behind the counter. A county employee checked Lily's identification, deed, and request number. "I have the archived parcel packet," the employee said. "Who is authorized to review it?" "I am," Lily answered. "I'm executor of the estate that transferred the property," Megan said. The employee looked at the recorded deed. "The current owner can allow other people to view the material with her." Lily could have asked Megan and Noah to wait outside. The thought gave her a brief, hard satisfaction. Then she imagined carrying the result back to them and arguing over what the county had shown. Every sentence would become another version. Megan would say Lily misunderstood. Noah would say she had hidden part of the file. "They can stay," Lily said. The employee brought out a wide gray folder tied with cotton tape. A label carried the mill parcel number and several years of handwritten references. The first sheets were ordinary tax diagrams. Thick black lines marked roads and parcels, but the scale was too small to show individual walls. Earlier pages listed the mill as one industrial improvement. Later assessment sheets listed 2 improvements without explaining the change. Megan pointed to the oldest diagram. "The fence line follows the field edge." The employee shook her head. "That line is a parcel boundary symbol. It isn't a fence record." "So it shows the boundary," Noah said. "It shows the boundary as mapped at that time. You requested the correction material, which is later." She removed a sealed paper sleeve from the back of the folder. The label read, "Recorded Correction, 2022." John's name appeared below it as the requesting owner. Lily touched the label with one finger. "Did my grandfather file this?" she asked. "The recorder's index says he did. Was it accepted?" "Yes." "Can it be changed after his death?" "Any later correction would require its own basis in recording. There isn't one in this packet." Megan leaned closer. "Accepted for what purpose?" "To correct the mapped parcel description against the recorded legal description." "Does that mean the county decided who owns a building?" "No. The county recorded the correction. We don't decide private disputes at this counter." The employee spoke without favoring anyone. She had confirmed the rule, not Lily's conclusion. "Can we see the sheet?" Noah asked. "It is a fragile oversize original." "I can provide the certified reproduction requested by the owner. The reproduction can be unfolded outside this room. The original stays flat under protective film." The employee placed the original on a wide viewing table and covered it with a clear sheet. Before she could turn it toward them, another employee called her to the adjoining counter about the certification stamp. "Please don't move the film," she said. "I'll return in a moment." The drawing faced away from Lily. From where she stood, she could see survey notation and part of John's signature, but not the full property outline. Noah stepped toward the other side. Lily put her hand on the table. "Wait, it's right there. The surveyor is being paid to read it against the ground. We're allowed to look." "Yes." "When the certified copy is ready." Megan watched Lily. "You already believe it includes the seed house. I believe the county counts a second building. I believe grandfather recorded a correction. I don't know whether the monuments and foundation match it." "That sounds like something Caleb told you to say." "No. It sounds like what I learned." The employee returned with a large folded reproduction, a Rays County seal pressed through the lower corner. She showed Lily the recording number, date, parcel number, and certification statement. "This is the same drawing as the archived original," she said. "The surveyor may rely on it as a county-certified copy of the recorded correction. Whether its calls match field evidence is for the surveyor to determine." One uncertainty was gone. John's correction was real. It had been recorded 3 years before his death, not added during probate, and not created after Lily began asking questions. Lily paid the reproduction fee with the last small amount available on her debit card. She placed the folded sheet inside a protective tube the county provided. Noah held out his hand. "Let me see it. The surveyor will open it this afternoon. You just said we could all look." "You can." "At the property, against the things it describes." Megan gathered the older assessment copies. "I want copies of these." The employee directed her to the public copier. Lily waited near the door. Noah joined her while Megan stood at the machine. You know Mom is going to keep disputing this, he said. I know. If the map helps you, you could still make an agreement with us. What agreement? One that doesn't leave her with nothing. She inherited grandfather's house and savings. That isn't what I mean. What do you mean? Noah glanced toward Megan. She handled everything when he got sick. That doesn't make the mill hers. No, but it means Grandpa wasn't thinking about what this would do. Lily rested the map tube against her leg. He recorded the correction before he got sick. You don't know how sick he was, neither do you. Noah lowered his voice. If you take the building and the lease, Mom will see it as you accusing her of stealing from you. I haven't accused her of that. You don't have to say it. That's how it will look. Lily understood the choice he was offering. She could make the facts smaller to protect Megan from what they revealed about her decisions. Lily had done that before. She had called the bus station misunderstanding a scheduling problem. She had called years of distance complicated. She had treated the $1 mill as a valid family share because naming the imbalance would force everyone to see it. I won't tell people she stole anything, Lily said. I also won't give her part of the property so she feels less responsible. Noah's expression hardened. Then don't expect this to go back to normal. It wasn't normal for me. Megan returned with her copies. What are you two discussing? The field appointment, Lily said. That answer was true enough and spared Noah from having his private argument repeated in front of his mother. Lily didn't need to punish him to refuse him. Outside, Megan stopped beside Lily's car. I want to attend the survey, she said. You can? Who else will be there? Caleb and Allison. Why Allison? Because the cooperative has a direct interest in the building. And Caleb? He knows the site and worked here with grandfather. Noah opened the passenger door. You're making this public. 5 people in a field isn't public. It's enough. Lily put the map tube across the back seat of her car. The survey starts at 2. She drove to the mill and placed the tube on John's desk. Caleb arrived at 11 with his completed estimates. He also carried a letter from the owner of the workshop space he had inspected. The space was available. He had until Saturday to accept. You should take it, Lily said. I might. You should. I heard you the first time. I can't promise this mill will be ready in 2 months. I never asked you to promise. You wanted to rent here. I still do. Then you could lose the other place waiting for mine. Caleb set the letter beside the workshop drawing. That is my decision. It affects your business. Yes? Lily looked at him. Grandfather trained you here? That doesn't mean you owe the building anything. No, but I know what kind of space I want. I haven't found it yet. This may never be that space. Then the survey will tell us something useful. She could have asked him to wait 1 more day. She could have used John's history, the possible lease, or the work already completed to make leaving feel disloyal. Instead, she handed the letter back. Protect your business, she said. If you take the other space, I'll still pay for every hour you work here. Caleb folded the letter into his pocket. Fair? Allison arrived shortly after noon. The cooperative had prepared a relocation schedule. Trucks would come Monday at 7 if she didn't cancel by the end of the day. I wanted you to see it, she said. Lily read the list. Seed would move in 3 loads. The oldest intake would go first. Nothing about the plan was meant to pressure Lily. That made it worse. If the survey confirms the building, what else do you need today? Lily asked. A signed acknowledgement that you accept the lease duties. I brought one. Not a new lease? No. A change of landlord under the existing agreement. And the escrow, it remains held until I receive the certified survey result. Lily handed the page back. I'll sign after the field match, not before. That is the correct order. They walked the property before the others arrived. Lily showed Allison the cleared ditch and the flags beside the painted stones. Water no longer pooled against the office. At 1:45, Megan and Noah came through the gate. Noah carried a camera. Megan carried her estate file. Lily brought the map tube from the office and laid it across the hood of Caleb's truck. She could still have arranged a private survey and sent the result afterward. That would have been easier. It would also leave every relationship exactly where it had been, dependent on who told the story later. At 2, a survey vehicle turned off West Forest Street. Lily put one hand on the tube so the wind couldn't move it. Then she unlocked the gate and let the final question onto the property. The driver parked beside Caleb's truck and stepped out carrying a tripod, a hard equipment case, and a narrow measuring rod. Jack Sutton, he said. Who is Lily Nguyen? Lily raised her hand. Jack was 46, with a sun-reddened face and mud dried along the edges of his boots. He checked Lily's identification, the recorded deed, and the county certification on the map tube. Before I open this, he said, I locate recorded lines. I don't divide estates, interpret wills, or decide who behaved properly. Megan held her file against her chest. I'm the estate executor. If this map shows a building that wasn't valued in probate, I need that noted. I note monuments, measurements, foundations, fences, and recorded documents, Jack said. Probate valuation isn't part of my field work. Noah pointed toward the newer wire fence. That fence has always separated the mill from the field. Caleb looked at him. It hasn't always been there. It was there when Grandpa died. That doesn't make it the boundary. Noah turned to Jack. The building Lily inherited is on this side. The stone storage house is on the other side. Whatever the county changed, it can't move an existing building into her property. Jack set the equipment case on the ground. A map doesn't move a building. It describes where the recorded parcel lies. Megan opened her file. The estate inventory lists one fire-damaged mill at a value of $1, she said. That is what transferred to Lily. The stone building wasn't included, and no one understood it to be included. If there is value attached to it, that value belongs to the estate. She spoke clearly, with Allison listening and Noah beside her. There was no concern left in the statement and no room for misunderstanding. Megan had committed herself to the version in which intent followed the appraisal, even if the deed said something larger. Lily felt the old pull to soften the moment for her. She didn't. My deed transfers the legal parcel, she said. Please open the map. Jack untied the tube and removed the certified reproduction. Caleb cleared the hood of his truck, and Jack unfolded the large sheet across it. He placed a weight on each corner. Everyone moved closer. The corrected parcel was outlined in a thick red line. West Forest Street ran along the lower edge. The burned mill appeared as a long rectangle near the road. Behind it, within the same red boundary, stood a second rectangle marked Seed Storage House. A dashed line showed the newer fence crossing through the parcel, instead of following its western edge. For several seconds, no one spoke. Lily looked from one building outline to the other. The county map showed two buildings inside the same tract. It didn't count the office separately. It didn't use an old structure that had been removed. The second improvement was the intact stone seed house beyond the misplaced fence. John's name appeared beside the correction request. The recording date was in 2022. Noah leaned over the sheet. This could be a proposed line. Jack pointed to the recorder's stamp. It is a recorded correction tied to the legal description on Lily's deed. But you haven't checked it outside, Megan said. That is what I'm here to do. Jack asked everyone to stand clear while he set the tripod near the road. He used the legal description from Lily's deed and the measurements on John's correction map. A small instrument turned above the tripod, finding its position against reference points Jack had loaded before arriving. He walked first to the mill's southeast corner. Then he moved toward the newer fence. The map calls for a monument beyond this wire, he said. There are two painted stones, Lily told him. Show me without crossing. She led him along the ditch to the first flag. Jack looked through the wire, then followed the fence until he reached a loose section near the old drainage line. Who controls access on the other side? He asked. Allison held up the cooperative key ring. The cooperative has temporary access to the seed house through the field. Does that access cover this inspection? It covers contractors and maintenance related to the leased building. I authorized the survey visit with the field owner this morning. Jack nodded. He went around by the gravel track rather than climbing the wire. Everyone followed in their vehicles except Lily and Caleb, who walked along the road. At the seed house, Jack placed the measuring rod on the first painted stone. He brushed away loose soil with a hand tool and found a cut mark on its upper face. That is a survey monument, he said. From 2022? Noah asked. I can tell you it matches the monument type and position called on the correction map. The recording date belongs to the map. He took a reading, entered it into his field controller, and moved to the second stone. Megan stood beside the green doors. Rain from the repaired flashing had left the wall clean and dry. The fence installer could have put those stones there, she said. Jack didn't look up. Fence installers don't usually set marked stone monuments several yards away from their fence. Usually isn't proof. No, measurement is. The second monument matched the map's call. Jack checked it twice. Then he positioned the rod against the seed house foundation. He measured the northeast corner, crossed to the rear, and checked the western wall. The red boundary shown on the correction map passed outside the entire stone building. The newer fence sat inside Lily's parcel. It cut the mill yard from its own seed house and trapped part of the drainage route on the wrong side. Noah photographed Jack's equipment screen. Don't use that image as a certified result, Jack said. I'll issue the result. What does it show? Lily asked. Jack looked at the map, the two monuments and the stone foundation. It shows that both recorded monuments and the Seed House Foundation match the 2022 correction within survey tolerance. Megan's grip loosened on her file. So, the building is inside the mill parcel. Yes, and the mill parcel is the parcel on her deed. Jack checked the parcel number again. Yes. Noah stepped between Megan and the table where Jack had placed the map. That doesn't answer whether the estate made a mistake. No, Jack said. It answers where the deeded parcel is on the ground. That was enough. The estate had transferred the parcel to Lily. John's recorded correction placed both buildings inside it. Jack's field measurements matched the map to the surviving monuments and the Seed House Foundation. No separate account, hidden deed, or second inheritance was needed. The $1 transfer had carried the useful building because the legal parcel had always carried it. Jack prepared a field verification statement on his tablet. He attached the county-certified map reference, deed parcel number, monument readings, and foundation checks. Then he added his license information and signature. "I can send the certified statement now," he said. "The full survey drawing follows after office review, but this verifies the match I was hired to test." Lily gave him Allison's email and her own. Megan stepped closer. "Send it to me as executor." "Lily hired me and owns the parcel," Jack said. "She decides who receives it." Lily looked at Megan. This was the point where withholding the result might feel powerful. "Send it to all of us," she said. Megan, Noah, Caleb, and Allison. Jack collected their addresses and sent the statement. Phones sounded one after another. Allison opened the attachment first. She read the certification, compared the parcel number with the working copy of the lease, and called her cooperative office. "Cancel Monday's trucks," she said. "The seed stays where it is." She listened, confirmed the instruction, and ended the call. Then she removed the landlord acknowledgement from her folder and placed it on the hood of her vehicle. "The survey match establishes that Lily's deeded parcel contains the leased building," she said. "The cooperative recognizes Lily as the current landlord under the existing agreement." Megan looked at the paper. "You're doing that immediately? We had a condition. The condition has been met. There is still an estate dispute. You may pursue whatever estate process is available to you. The cooperative has a recorded deed and a licensed field match. We need an operating landlord today." Lily read the acknowledgement. It required her to accept existing maintenance duties, preserve cooperative access, and give notice before changing any use that affected seed storage. She signed. Allison signed for the cooperative. "The escrow release can now be processed," Allison said. "I'll bring the final account statement to the mill." Noah stared at Lily's signature. "You signed before speaking to us. I spoke to you yesterday. You refused our proposal." "Yes." "You don't know how to run a seed house." "Allison does. I'm the landlord, not the cooperative director." "And the mill?" "Caleb has the repair estimates, so everyone gets a part except us." Lily set down the pen. "You inherited grandfather's truck, trailer, and tools. Megan inherited his house and savings. I'm keeping the property assigned to me." "The appraisal was wrong," Megan said. "The appraisal valued the condition. It didn't change the deed. You know Dad didn't explain this to me." Lily looked at John's initials inside the seed house doors. "He didn't explain it to me either." "That should tell you something. It tells me he trusted the record to remain after him." Megan's eyes filled, but she blinked the tears back. "Or he was trying to control us after he died." Lily could have answered with the weekly calls, the corrected map, and the fact that Megan had tried to remove the mill before checking what it held. All of it was true. Saying it now would only turn proof into a weapon. "I don't know why he didn't tell you," Lily said. "I know what he recorded." Jack packed his equipment. His work was finished. Before leaving, he handed Lily a temporary field sketch marking the fence inside her boundary. "Don't move the fence based only on this sketch," he said. "Use the completed survey drawing and arrange the work properly." "I will." He drove away. The remaining 5 stood between the 2 buildings. Noah looked at the painted monuments as if they had personally refused him. Megan closed her estate file. "If you reconsider an operating share," Noah said, "call me." "I won't offer one." His face hardened. Lily continued before he could turn away. "If the cooperative needs hauling, you can quote the work like anyone else. In writing, no family claim attached." Noah looked at Allison. "We hire hauling when needed," Allison said. "Normal rates, normal terms." It wasn't the place he had demanded, but it wasn't exile either. Megan walked back toward John's truck without speaking. Noah followed. Caleb remained beside the open map. "You need to protect that from the wind." Lily folded the certified copy along its existing creases and returned it to the tube. Allison held out a brass key. "What is this?" Lily asked. "The landlord key to the Seed House. John's copy stayed with us after he became ill." Lily took it. For the first time, she opened the green doors without entering under someone else's permission. The lock turned stiffly, then released. Allison entered first to check the stored seed. Lily followed with the landlord key in her hand. Caleb stayed near the doors while Megan and Noah drove away in John's truck. Nothing inside had changed during the survey. The sacks remained on their pallets. The collection tray beneath the repaired flashing was dry. Yet every maintenance item now belonged to Lily, in a way it hadn't that morning. Allison checked the north wall with her palm. "First obligation," she said. "Keep this dry through the next storm." It was Caleb's repair. "It is your roof." Lily understood the distinction. "When will the escrow move?" she asked. "I need the signed acknowledgement entered today. The cooperative account requires 2 approvals. If there is no banking delay, the transfer should reach you Monday. I have a tax deadline, I know. Can you give me confirmation for the county?" "I can confirm that payment is processing. The county still decides what it accepts." Lily nodded. Allison looked at the Seed House doors. "The cooperative also needs an access plan within 30 days. The completed survey will show where the fence should be. Yes, moving it is your responsibility. Can the cooperative use the current field route until then?" "For 30 days. After that, I have to renew the temporary agreement or move our access." The proof had settled ownership. It hadn't removed the work waiting behind it. Back at the mill office, Caleb placed both estimates beside the certified field statement. "If the escrow clears Monday, call the cleanup company first," he said. "Before the tax, call them. Don't pay them first." Lily wrote the order on John's old calendar: county tax, controlled cleanup deposit, Seed House weather work, access. "What about the mill roof?" she asked. "After contaminated debris is removed, the temporary cover over the office stays." "And your workshop?" Caleb took the letter about the other space from his pocket. "I turned it down." Lily looked up. "When?" "This morning." "Before the survey?" "Yes." "That wasn't sensible. The other building had water coming through 2 walls and a landlord who called it ventilation. You could have found another. I can still find another." He opened his workshop drawing. "I'm not asking you to promise a completion date," he said. "I'm asking for first option to rent the east room if the cleanup and separation work. What do you give me for an option? A written deposit. You don't have a usable room yet. I have an interest in being first when you do." Lily read the simple page he had prepared. The deposit was modest. It would apply to future rent or return to Caleb if the space couldn't be made safe within the agreed period. "You wrote a return date," she said. "You like knowing what happens. I like clear terms. That too." She signed beneath his name. The deposit did not rescue the mill. It gave Caleb a fair position and Lily a tenant with a reason to keep helping. Both could still leave if the building failed inspection. Allison returned before 5 with the final escrow statement. The balance was $38,400. The page listed every rent payment and approved deduction. Lily signed only to confirm receipt of the accounting, not the money. "I've withdrawn the relocation order," Allison said. "The growers will receive notice that storage continues here. Will you tell them about the family dispute? I'll tell them ownership was verified. That's all. That is all they need." Allison handed her a copy of the current maintenance schedule. "I don't need you to become John. I need answers by the dates on this page." Lily placed it with Caleb's estimates. "You'll have them." The transfer appeared in Lily's account Monday morning. For several minutes, she only looked at the number. She had never had that much money under her control. Part of her wanted to move it somewhere no one knew about and leave it untouched. Instead, she opened the county payment site. The tax balance included the original delinquency and a small additional charge. Lily paid it in full. The confirmation page gave her a receipt number and changed the parcel status to current. She printed 2 copies at the pharmacy. One went into her document tub. The other went beneath John's note on the desk. Next, she paid the cleanup deposit. The remaining balance was still substantial, but it no longer looked like money she could simply keep. Each estimate had a claim on it. The Seed House roof, drainage, fence relocation, fire separation, and mill structure all waited in a line. Noah arrived that evening without calling. Lily met him at the locked gate. "You changed the padlock," he said. "I didn't. Then the key Grandpa gave me never fit." "He gave you a mill key?" "A long time ago." "Which door?" Noah held up an old silver key. "Machine room. That area is sealed for cleanup. I'm not trying to go in." "Then why did you bring the key?" He put it back in his pocket. I heard the cooperative released the rent. Lily didn't ask how. Allison had informed the growers that storage would continue. In a small agricultural community, the rest would travel without an official announcement. The lease is active, Lily said. How much was held? That is between the cooperative and the landlord. Noah gave a tired laugh. Now you sound like Allison. She was careful before she knew I had authority. I'm doing the same. I came to talk about work, hauling, management. I told you I'm not offering an operating share. You don't know the growers. You don't own equipment for moving seed. The cooperative manages seed. If Allison needs hauling, she can request a quote. You'd rather pay strangers than work with family. I offered you the same terms as anyone else. That's the problem. Noah wanted family to mean his place came before competence, paperwork, and boundaries. Lily had once wanted family to mean the same thing for her. It hadn't. What terms do you want? She asked. A percentage of the operation. I don't operate the cooperative. Then a percentage of the rent. No. For using Grandpa's truck when you need it. The property doesn't need his truck enough to give away its income. Noah looked past Lily toward the office light. You've got money now, he said. You can afford to be generous. The money already owes work. That's a convenient answer. It's the true one. Noah took the old key out again. For a moment, Lily thought he might throw it through the fence. Instead, he placed it on top of the gatepost. You can keep that too, he said. He returned to John's truck and left. Lily picked up the key. She labeled it Machine Room, Access Suspended, and put it in the locked desk drawer. Noah had not apologized. He had not accepted ordinary business terms. He had chosen distance when the family advantage he wanted was refused. The next morning, Megan emailed Allison and copied Lily. As executor, I withdraw the estate's objection to the cooperative recognizing Lily Nguyen as landlord of the seed house within the deeded West Seed Mill parcel. There was no apology in the message. Megan didn't acknowledge the pressure she had caused, or the time Allison lost preparing relocation. She simply removed the claim the field result had made impossible to maintain. Lily printed the email and filed it with the survey statement. Megan came to the mill that afternoon carrying a small cardboard box. I found these after Noah moved the last tools, she said. Lily kept the gate between them until Megan looked at the lock. Are you letting me in? You need to call before coming. I'm here now. Lily unlocked the gate. Today is fine. Next time, call. Megan entered without answering. The box contained work gloves, an old thermos, spare keys, and several photographs from the mill office. None changed the property proof. They were ordinary parts of John's working life. You could have kept the photos, Lily said. They belong here. Megan stood beneath the exterior light, even though the afternoon was bright. I didn't know about the correction, she said. I believe you. I thought Dad gave you the mill because he felt guilty. Maybe he did. Megan looked surprised by the answer. Lily continued. Guilt doesn't explain why he recorded the boundary. No. Did you ever ask him why he kept the mill? He said it still had a job. The words matched everything Lily had learned, though Megan spoke them as if they had once annoyed her. I thought he meant the equipment, Megan said. There was always another belt to repair, another leak. I wanted him to let something go. So, you let it go for him. I was tired. That doesn't make the deed smaller. I know. Megan looked through the gate toward the seed house. What happens now? I honor the lease. Move the fence after the full survey. Clean the burned section. Repair what the money covers. And when it runs out, I keep working. Megan nodded, but she didn't offer help. Lily didn't ask. At the gate, Megan stopped. I should have checked where you stayed when you turned 18, she said. Lily's hand remained on the chain. Yes, she answered. I believed the program handled it. You chose to believe that. Megan looked down. I'm sorry, she said. Lily didn't tell her it was all right. It wasn't. An apology could name the injury. It couldn't place Megan at the bus station 7 years earlier, or give Lily the night she had spent waiting for a room. If you want to come back, Lily said, call first. Wear work clothes. Megan looked at the burned roof, the muddy ditch, and the gloves inside the box. All right. It was not forgiveness. It was a condition Megan could either meet or ignore. 2 days later, the cleanup crew sealed the West Bay and began controlled removal. Lily watched the first contained load leave through the gate. Caleb stood beside her with the remediation schedule. When the truck cleared the new post, Lily locked the gate again. This time, the locked property held a current tax account, an active lease, a future workshop option, and enough money to continue the work. It also held every duty that had arrived with them. The cleanup company finished the West Bay in 9 working days. On the 10th morning, Caleb removed the plastic seal between the office and machine room. He opened only a narrow section first and set the air meter on a folding chair. Lily waited beside him. The reading stayed steady. They entered wearing protective masks because Caleb preferred caution to ceremony. The burned bay looked larger without the debris. Black marks remained on the beams, but the sound timber had been cleaned and tagged. Damaged pieces carried bright paint where they needed replacement. Lily ran her glove across the nearest post. "What comes out next?" she asked. "Nothing until the engineer's repair list is finished. You already know what you want to replace. I know what I think." She looked at him. Caleb smiled behind his mask. "Yes, I know. We do it in the right order." The final cleanup payment left less escrow money than Lily liked seeing. She entered every expense into a plain ledger. Rent came in each month, but it didn't turn the mill into free property. Insurance, utilities, repairs, and tax reserves took their portions first. The completed survey arrived the same week. Lily hired a fencing crew to move the wire onto the verified boundary. She gave the adjoining field owner notice through the ordinary process, and Allison arranged cooperative access while the work was underway. When the old wire came down, the yard changed shape. The seed house no longer appeared stranded in someone else's field. The drainage ditch ran openly between both buildings. Caleb used John's old transit line from the mill wall to mark a gravel approach. Megan called before the first workday. "Is Saturday still all right?" she asked. 8 o'clock. "What should I bring?" "Work gloves." The box had grandfather's spare pair if they fit. They didn't fit. Megan arrived wearing new gloves and old jeans Lily had never seen. She brought coffee for herself and Lily, then stopped at the locked gate. Lily opened it. "What are we doing?" Megan asked. "Brush along the ditch." They worked for 2 hours before either mentioned the family. Megan cut weeds into short lengths. Lily raked them away from the water. Neither was especially good at working beside the other. Megan gave instructions when Lily hadn't asked. Lily corrected her too quickly. At one point, Megan stepped into the ditch and sent muddy water over both shoes. Lily laughed before she could stop herself. Megan looked offended, then looked down at her feet and laughed too. The sound didn't repair 7 years. It made one wet Saturday easier. When they finished, Megan carried the tools back to the office. "Same time next week?" she asked. "Call Friday." Megan did. The second Saturday, she helped paint the office shelves. The third, she canceled because of work and called the night before, instead of letting Lily wait. A week later, she returned and completed the section she had left unfinished. Lily noticed each action. She didn't turn them into more than they were. Noah stayed away through the summer. Allison requested hauling quotes for the autumn seed intake. Noah submitted one on company letterhead with insurance information, equipment charges, and a normal rate. He didn't mention being John's grandson, or ask Lily to approve it privately. Allison chose a lower quote. Noah called Lily that evening. "Did you tell her not to hire me?" "No." "She picked someone from Tremonton. Then their price or schedule worked better. I gave the cooperative a fair rate. I believe you." He waited for Lily to offer something else. She didn't. "All right," he said at last. The next month, a repair job required John's equipment trailer. Caleb requested a price from Noah in writing. Noah rented it to him for 2 days under the same terms he used with other contractors. He delivered it to the mill, checked the lights, and handed Caleb the paperwork. Lily was replacing trim beside the office door. Noah looked toward the east room. New framing stood where his proposed operating chair had once existed only in his imagination. "Workshop?" he asked. "If it passes inspection," Lily said. He nodded. "Looks good." It was the first thing he had said about the mill without attaching a claim. He didn't stay. Caleb's workshop took longer than either of them planned. One roof beam needed replacement after the damaged covering came off. The electrical service required an upgrade. The loading door had to be rehung because one corner dragged. They disagreed over the cost of the extra outlets. "I need them along both benches," Caleb said. "The lease plan shows 6. The layout changed. Then the price changes. I can install them. As tenant work or owner work." Caleb rubbed both hands over his face. "Owner work with labor credit. Write it down." He did. Every receipt went into the ledger. Every labor credit carried a date and description. Clear terms didn't make them less generous with each other. They made generosity easier to trust. The workshop passed inspection in early autumn. Caleb paid the first month's rent before moving in a single tool. Then he brought the workbenches, cabinet saw, clamps, and the battered radio he had used during his apprenticeship. He placed the old photograph from the contact binder above his bench. John stood in front of the mill, hands on his hips, while a younger Caleb held a level. "You're putting that there?" Lily asked. It reminds me to check my measurements. It reminds me you once had more hair. That too. The first repair to leave the workshop was a grower's broken seed cart. Caleb replaced one wheel bearing and straightened the handle. Allison came to collect it and found Lily repairing mortar at the seed house door. "The north wall is dry," Allison said. "I checked it after the storm. I checked it too." "That sounds like you don't trust me. It sounds like I'm responsible for the seed." Lily set down the mortar tool. "Anything else?" "Brush is growing back along the west wall. I'll clear it Thursday." "Good." Allison no longer softened maintenance notices because Lily was young or because John had died. That was its own kind of respect. Inside, new intake sacks filled the first two rows. Growers arrived through the restored millside approach instead of crossing the neighboring field. Allison checked each load, and Lily kept the doors and drainage working. The upstairs rooms took the last of the available restoration money. They had been closed since the fire, but the cleaned framing remained sound after damaged sections were replaced. Lily installed plain flooring, second-hand kitchen cabinets, and windows that opened without being forced. Caleb built a narrow stair rail from salvage mill timber. Megan painted one bedroom wall and left a thick streak near the ceiling. "You missed a spot," Lily said. "I can see it. You're painting around it. I'm resting my shoulder." Lily handed her the extension pole. Megan finished the wall. When the upstairs passed its final inspection, Lily carried her plastic document tubs up first. She placed them inside a closet with a door that locked, then stood there holding the key. The camping mattress came up that evening. A real bed arrived 2 days later. John's coat stayed downstairs beside the office desk, where work still entered the building. Lily kept the office as the place for bills, repair meetings, and cooperative records. Home began at the top of the stairs. On the first cold night, the upstairs heater stopped. Lily woke to a room turning colder around her. For a moment, she was 18 again, listening for someone else to decide where she could stay. Then she got out of bed, put on John's coat, and went downstairs. Caleb was still in the workshop finishing cabinet doors. Together, they found a trip safety switch on the new unit. Water from an unsealed vent edge had reached the sensor. They shut the heater down, sealed the edge, and used the office heater until the unit could be checked the next morning. Lily didn't pack her tubs. A month later, another hard rain tested the seed house, flashing. Allison called from inside the building. "North wall is dry," she said. "Good. The ditch is carrying water." "Good. You could sound happier." "I'm standing outside in the same rain checking the mill roof." Allison laughed. "Call me when you're dry." By winter, the tax reserve was funded for the following year. The cooperative lease remained active. Caleb's workshop paid steady rent. None of it made Lily careless. She still checked the gate twice some nights. Megan came for dinner upstairs only after calling first. She brought rice, roasted vegetables, and a pie that leaned to one side in its box. Lily didn't give her a key. Megan didn't ask. They ate at a small table beside the new window. Below them, Caleb closed his tool cabinets. Across the yard, Allison supervised an evening seed delivery under the restored exterior lights. If stories about young people rebuilding a life after family betrayal matter to you, subscribe and return for the next inheritance story. After Megan left, Lily washed the plates and set them in the rack. She checked the weather seal at the window, wrote the next roof inspection date on the calendar, and carried John's empty coffee tin upstairs to hold spare keys. The mill settled around the ordinary sounds of evening. A clamp released below. A cart rolled over the stone house floor. The gate opened for the last cooperative truck and closed again. Lily stood at the upstairs window. Caleb switched off the saw and lowered the workshop radio. Allison held one green door, while two growers guided a pallet inside. Warm light reached from the mill across the cleared yard and touched the pale stone wall. Lily switched on the restored mill's upstairs lamp, while Caleb's workshop quieted below, and growers carried seed through the stone house across the yard.